Bam, bam,
Hey,
bam,
hey, hey.
bam.
That's all you got? Bam, 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 bam.
Actually, you know how I say I always notice something?
Uh-huh.
They have a thing on the table. Is that money or tickets or what's in that box? That see-through box.
I have no idea, man.
I don't know why we've got over 100 and almost 50 episodes, and I'm still noticing stuff about. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
weird.
Of course, because you don't pay attention to nothing.
I paid attention.
wasn't
to
wrong.
to that Dean tweet that he wants us to
Uh-huh.
read out loud.
Yeah, I won't do that, Dean,
Abort.
but, I want
Abort.
to.
Abort.
I want to really bad, though. I want to click
I'm pretty
on it,
sure our channel would be
flash
shut
click.
down. That's one of those things too. You don't want 10 years from now someone bring that up.
That's
It's
right.
damn, we thought it was funny.
That's right.
We probably
That's
shouldn't
hilarious.
have said that out loud.
So before we welcome the chat, I'm going to welcome our guests in here.
Yep.
We have Aaron from Immortal Rising and Chris from Infinitale Chronicles.
Hey.
Welcome, guys.
What up, guys?
What
Sorry.
Hey.
Hail,
How's it
nerds.
going? That's the best intro right there. Hail
That's
nerds.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Yeah,
welcome.
happy Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, Tuesday's
We're gonna
almost over.
Try to just
How-
have some fun tonight. Have a good
How's the
conversation.
week started out for everybody? Fair enough. I concur.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's only Tuesday.
I'm ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Friday and Saturday.
I'm waiting for Labor Day.
It wouldn't be
I
so
want
bad
that-
if it wasn't also not just the beginning of the week, but also like super hot. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's
is it
nothing but
hot down
humidity,
there?
dude. It's like walking through not just a sauna but a jacuzzi. Like I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's gonna be 94 on Thursday here in Columbus, Ohio. So that's gonna
Oh
be
damn!
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of cool or chill up here. It's like almost
It
a
is.
little
What's up,
high
crazy?
70s.
That's nice. Hey, we want to welcome the chat here. We have Crazy Mad in the house. We have
Hey.
Dean. I'll highlight this one,
nice.
Dean.
What up?
Yeah. Don't highlight the other one.
We got Mo Biggs as well.
What up, Mo?
And so those are the guys in the chat for now. Hopefully we'll get some people showing up here in just a little bit. Usually we gain some momentum as we go along.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's
I think
get
people
into
are
it.
used to us not always starting at 8 either. So
Yeah.
Well, we were behind. We were like 8:03 or 4
See?
or something like that.
at least we're
Rational, we made-
consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
Let's hit Crazy Mad's question of the week. What is your
Oh.
choice for the theme song to fighting your boss in your work's parking lot? That's
The
a good
first thing that popped in my head was "Eye of a Tiger." I don't know why,
Ooh.
but it was just
You're the best around.
one. Yes, I love that one. Damn, what would be the theme song? I just keep hearing Benny Hill. You know?
What about the guy?
Something silly.
That goes with everything.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't hate my boss, but I guess if I gotta beat him up, I gotta beat him up. So I don't know. Might as well make it real aggressive, right? Like let's do Hate Breed or something, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Why can't we be friends?
As you punch him.
I just want to talk.
Yep.
what about
That's
what
awesome.
about Beat It? You just
Beat It?
both having knives. You didn't say
Oh,
that there
yeah.
wasn't
No,
weapons. This
It
might
would
be
turn
like
into a
medieval.
dance off. It wouldn't be it would be a fight.
You just got served.
Yeah.
They-
Start doing
It's a. He didn't say what type of fight, so it could be a dance
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
It's true.
You know,
Hey.
Yeah, you ain't nothing. Dude.
Crazy
So,
Man
yeah,
said,
there
let's
you go.
start a
Yeah,
riot
that's a good song.
by 3
Yeah.
Days Grace.
Hell yeah.
That's a good fighting one.
Damn.
Maybe it could be in Street Fighter. Like, isn't there a new Street Fighter out?
Yeah, there is a new Street
Yeah.
Fighter.
I'll take my boss on in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Is there a song about?
Fatality.
Is there a song about you know, going against your boss? Is there? There's got to be something, right?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, with rock and roll, more than likely.
I mean, I don't know. Working for the man, something about that, right? There's gotta
Dolly
be something.
Parton.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
It's all upbeat while you got like a chain wrapped around your fist railing into it.
Damn.
Yeah. Make it happen. That sounds great.
It sounds like we need to film this.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Oh, that's so fun.
I think it changes. Like, if I'm dominating the fight, it would be a badass song. If I'm getting beat up, I want to make it funny. So at least people are laughing with me and not at me. You know? Like, maybe the Spider-Man. You know, just something that's ridiculous. It doesn't fit.
Yeah. I thought you meant the Nickelback song. When a hero can stand.
Yes.
Better. Yes. That's perfect, because I need
You
someone to
just
save
give up
me
at
as I'm
that
getting
point.
beat.
You're like, ah, just take me now. Screw it.
Yeah, the major track.
Oh, shit.
Going down to Nickelback. Jeez.
Oh, yeah, it's over at that point. Johnny Cash had a song about a retirement party where he fights his boss at the end. It's called
That's
Oni.
awesome.
Wow.
Nice. I got a buddy who'd know something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know
That's
if
too
we can
funny,
top
man.
that.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Is there a Oh, there's the horrible bosses. They kill their boss.
Oh, damn.
So,
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
yeah, slow down, Murph.
yeah.
This is being
Wow.
recorded.
Yeah. In Minecraft, abort.
Take that, Dean. I went to murder. Take that, Our
Checkmate.
Crusade.
Oh, shit. Although
Oh, and then
Jennifer
there's-
Aniston, I wouldn't be too mad if she was that kind of boss. I wouldn't
Yeah?
be mad.
Little feminine.
Well, they don't try to
wouldn't be
kill
mad.
her. They try to kill, what's his name?
No, but they try to make her look bad, and I'm like, really? Is that a bad boss? I don't know. I don't know, man.
Well, if she was ugly and she's trying to rape you, yeah, that
Yeah,
would
but
be
if
a
it's
different
if it's
story.
Jennifer Aniston doing that to you, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't
Right,
rape
yeah.
the willing.
It's like,
Yeah,
oh, no.
right.
Oh no! Stop! Oh no!
Oh no, I've fallen down.
That's terrible.
You're like, I'm doing your fly. Stop!
Yeah. I've fallen on the couch. Oh no.
You are right, because it's Jennifer Aniston, and then you can sue too. Like
Yeah.
you can sue the company that you were
No.
raped.
Not
I'll be
physically.
quiet. I'll be a good boy. I'll be quiet.
Oh, shit. Damn. So, man, we were in a good conversation just a few minutes ago. I'd like to resurrect
Yeah.
that if we could, but I don't know if I could.
Oh, it's on
Resurrect.
your wave.
It was a. What'd you
Nerds.
say?
He said, "Rise from your grave," and I said,
Oh.
"Resurrect."
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about everybody here working on their second book, so
Oh, yeah.
that was a cool
Yeah.
thing. And that's a really nice place to be. Although, Aaron, we know you're still fulfilling, right?
Yes, yes. Right now, I have the proofs. I've gone over the proofs. I've redone some files. Actually, I should say Chris has redone some files for me, and I'll be
He did that for
resubmitting
me
them
too.
Oh, yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
resubmitting those to
Yeah.
the printer. So,
Nice.
yeah, and then I'll be working on a retail version, which I think is also done, and then number 2 right away. Which actually,
cool.
to be fair, Jose did issue number 2 for me before he did number 1. So issue 2 is like 95% done. You know, it's probably gonna have some graphic stuff, this and that, to be put on it. But other than that, I probably got to go back through it and re-edit it. You know, like take out
right.
dialogue, because there's always dialogue you can take out.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. You already have book 2 ready, though. Like, you just have to do some
Yeah,
editing.
just ready to go. That was the idea, was to just knock them out.
That's awesome.
And have 1 and 2 pay for 3. So it wasn't like,
Wow.
I gotta make $1 million on this. You know, it's like, no, really, I just gotta pay for pay for some of the next one. You know.
Yeah.
So, because like,
That's really cool.
these books I can sell for the rest of my life. So I'm not
Very
too
true.
worried about immediate profit. You know.
Right.
Yes.
Mo says she whips out the strap-on, and Dirk
Oh,
demands
God.
some concessions. I get to call you Frank.
Concessions. Wait a minute. I have some
If she's
demands.
Frank, I'm down.
Whoa. I get to call you Frank, right?
Well, that's a new side of Dirk we never saw before. Now we know.
Yeah, well, little by little, Murph keeps putting it all out there.
I was gonna say, it's when
Wait
you
a
say
minute.
things
That's
like
short.
that. It's like when
Blame
you say
Murph.
things like that, people think you're gay. There's
It's
another short
because
right
of
there.
your shorts, your
My
your
shorts.
little short videos.
Your shorts.
And, yeah, here we go.
Wait,
Here
did
we
you
go.
just say you were attracted to Murph? Oh my gosh.
Did I?
It's yeah.
Did I?
Those shorts.
Yeah.
It's when he wears those
That's
Hot
shorts.
pants.
That's
and
terrible.
weird.
All right, Dirk kicks him.
Oh, Dirk, come back. Boo, come back.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Oh, there he
Oh shit! Hey, you all suck.
is.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Shit.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Don't listen to me. Don't
It's
listen
not
to me.
new to us viewers.
I got bisexual lighting. Don't you know? I got nothing to talk
He
about.
likes to watch you in your shorts, Murph. Look, now they've all come off.
Exactly.
It's because of your shorts. Oh, so now Murph was asking for it because of how he dresses.
Yeah.
Wait the victim, sure.
They're
Oh,
so
shit.
cut off. I can see the pockets.
The mouse came out of the house. Little Cub Scout trolley.
Oh, fuck.
The pockets.
Oh, this is one of the best days of my life. Oh.
Justice is on my team. Team Dirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Dirk. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's awesome. Hello, Justice.
Does that
Thanks
mean
for coming on, man.
Does that mean Justice likes my shorts too?
He might. He might.
Oh, wear shorts.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got the visual of that commercial, and that's definitely not Murph.
I can go for it though if we
Yeah.
we get
Sell
more
it.
viewers.
Yeah.
That'd be nightmare fuel. Like
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. Get
Well,
you some
I don't
pay-
think-
That's ridiculous, man.
Get you
I
some
don't think
pay
we're gonna-
pigs.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think we're gonna top that subject tonight.
I don't think so. I think it's over. We might as well hang it up. We had the best laugh of all. We're done.
Yeah. Good night,
We don't
everybody.
even have to see. And I bow. And I bow.
Shit, that's good. Nice and quick. That's what she said.
Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where George would do that? He'd make a joke, and once it was good, he'd leave the work meeting because he'd make another joke and it wouldn't go. So he just started leaving meetings after the
middle of the meeting.
Leaves on a peak.
yeah.
That's a good idea, actually.
It's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Oh, shit. Yeah, where do we go from here? I don't even know. No, I'm fucked up.
Probably less gay would be the best option.
Yeah.
Let's gay.
Move away from
Well,
the gay.
shit.
Don't go into the gay
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me your guys' fantasies.
Ah!
Oh, shit.
No, I don't know. What is going on in fantasy right now? I'm
Well,
Doesn't seem
okay.
like there's ever much.
Okay, hold
Dude,
on. So that was
gone.
what we have you here for. We were going to talk a little bit about that. We had some questions. So we were talking about the kind of the state of the fantasy genre because holy shit, where is it?
It's gone, man. It got
Is it
feminized.
gone?
Yeah, I mean, fantasy was originally kind of a male space. There were subgenres or whatever, but there's a reason why Lord of the Rings was a sausage party. It's because it was about It was basically like a war story, and that bores the hell out of chicks. And
Yeah.
when they started homogenizing everything to cast the broadest net possible, they feminized it. And now sci-fi, fantasy, all these genres in the mainstream are unwatchable. I saw 5 seconds of the Wheel of Time, and I'm like, if Robert Jordan lived long enough to see what they bastardized his books with, dude, he would have probably keeled over right on the spot.
Yeah, it was a very boring show.
awful.
It
I watched
missed
a
me
little
with
bit
it.
and it was
But
boring.
I'll tell you, I think right now is Baldur's Gate 3. That's the biggest thing I've seen people talking about.
Yeah,
Because that's the one with the there's you have sex with a bear or something
yeah,
crazy.
and it's dude, like so the mechanics and the
that's where we
graphics
are,
look
Dirk.
awesome.
Yep.
That's exactly okay. I've seen that on Twitter. Now that
where
you
we're
brought
at.
that
Yeah,
up.
it's all these like gross kinks and shit. It's like a
Wait,
opens
when you
the
say
door and it
bear,
pulls-
you talking about a gay man?
No,
Or
we're
an
talking
actual
about
bear?
a literal
no.
Grizzly Adams bear, like the
Yeah,
like a
like
bear,
a
animal
a
bear.
bear.
Yeah,
An
and
animal.
it's-
But I
and they're thinking
don't know.
it's funny.
I haven't played it, but people are saying that it's really good. But that was a part of the trailer for it was there was like this bear who comes out and maybe it's a druid or something. You know, I don't know whose
Yeah,
shape
wild
changed,
form.
Wow.
wild
So
form or
weird.
whatever. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I've heard people be like the play is tough. People are dying left and right. It's hard. You know, the moves are tough or whatever. I haven't played it yet, so I'm talking
wow.
out of my ass.
It's
but
from Larian.
just what I've seen on Twitter.
So it's basically like a rebranded, better version of Larian's Divinity series.
I don't know that
Um,
one.
So yeah,
that
Larian
very well
Studios
either.
had Divine Divinity and then Divinity 2, and like they're amazing at what they do. Unfortunately, again, it's feminized stuff. Like they have this like female narrator, and the story itself feels like a Tumblr fanfic. You know, like you escaped from the Yago.
Oh
or the
shit!
Mind
There's
Flayers.
flashbacks. Don't bring up Tumblr.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's on the-
Yeah,
Look at this.
I want like what we had in the
Sex
80s.
with a bear.
back.
You
You know?
Twitch.
Well, what did you have in the 80s?
Well, we had fantasy that didn't look at the camera and wink.
Sure.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
like remember
Yes.
Conan the Barbarian versus Conan
Oh,
the
yeah.
Destroyer? Like
Yes.
we need
Oh,
more
yeah.
Conan the Barbarian stuff.
Yes,
you know,
Yes, we
please.
do.
And-
Unapologetic.
Yeah, well, it's just like when they tried to
Yeah.
remake Conan, the story was awful, and it sucks because like Jason Momoa made an awesome
perfect.
Conan.
Yeah,
I thought so
that's what
too.
it-
I thought he looked
yeah.
cool.
I'll say my buddy though. My buddy says that the kid he liked that kid actor way more than the rest of the movie. He was like, let's stay with his story. That was more compelling than the rest of
Yeah.
it. You know? Yeah.
Well, it's just like I tried to sit through that awful Flash movie, and
Oh no.
I haven't
it
watched it.
basically
I won't.
I was a big fan of Warner Brothers animated movies, like
They're supposed to be really good, yeah.
Yeah, they made the Flashpoint Paradox, which is based
Yes.
off the comic book series.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. It's heartbreaking to watch. You know, you see
Right.
characters that are same character names, but they're very different people, like Thomas Wayne instead of Bruce
Yep.
Wayne.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
is
that was
cool.
good.
Absolutely
cartoon.
amazing. Unfortunately, they tried to bring that into the movie, and what they did was they feminized it. So all the characters that are male are dumb and derpy and flawed, and all the women characters are like flawless and perfect. And they literally had one spot where Wonder Woman shows up to help Batman because he's helpless without a woman to help him, and she uses the lasso of truth to like pull him up out of the water, and like he's talking about like all of his inadequacies and like lack of sex and stuff. And it was like, okay,
Oh,
so you
God.
just, and then she's like, okay, my job is done here. See ya. And it was like her whole point in that movie was to emasculate Batman and Flash. And they do that
That's-
throughout the whole.
Gosh.
Instead of
That's
having
fucked
like
up,
man.
instead of the emaciated Kal-El like they had in the cartoon, and I'm assuming the books as well, they have a Kara, which is Supergirl or whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so they replaced it with feminized Supergirl, and she's flawless. And it's like, she's doing everything better than the guys and all this, and it's like, oh,
Right.
God. Come on.
Yeah. More of this shit. Yeah.
But they do that in everything. Like they did that in that
Yeah,
Dungeons and
everything.
Dragons movie, which
Yep.
generally was funny. But if they were to swap the genders, that movie would have been 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely played up the badass barbarian chick. Yeah.
Yep.
But I like that movie. I like the D&D movie overall. I'm not saying it couldn't have been better, but for what it was, I mean, it didn't push a lot of politics. I didn't see.
Well, it's
anyways.
generally funny
Yeah.
too, by the way.
Yeah, it was just fun, really.
Okay.
It wasn't a lot. Like I didn't feel like I was gonna, I don't know. It wasn't bad.
Right.
It deserved to do better at the box office than it got. Like I wish I had gone to the theater and seen it just to kind of back it, because I did think it was done well. But even though I don't like WotC and I don't like D&D right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
It's
like
kinda
D&D's
strange.
dying.
Yeah. Well, it's
Well,
so
WotC
feminized.
themselves.
WotC is strangling it. So
Yeah.
Well, it's they killed their core market the same way Disney did. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Disney had three
Right.
markets cornered. They literally had three markets cornered, and they killed
Uh-huh.
every one of them. They had the little girls market with their Disney princesses and Tinkerbell and all that shit.
Yep.
So you got every little girl into that shit, And then for the boys, they had Star Wars, they had Indiana Jones, they had the Marvel, superheroes and shit. So it's like, okay, you got the boys and us man children in on that shit. And then you even got the family. You got the conservative Christian families that don't want to raise their kids, so they let the TV babysit them. And they could feel safe because they'd be like, look, we'll pop in Aladdin. We'll pop in some safe, kid-friendly movie. Well, let's see. The princesses and stuff are all masculine women now. So all the little girls that want to be like, having tea parties and stuff, or like the girly shit, are all like looking at like basically counterfeit men in dresses. So you lost the girl market. Your guys are now, all of their shit is feminized. So like Star Wars is insufferable. Marvel is unwatchable, and Indiana Jones, I think that thing bombed more than Hiroshima.
Yeah, I don't
Nobody
care.
wants to see that shit. So then the third market, your family market, where that the safe one, the one that they built their entire base off of.
Yeah, and their parks.
Yeah, and now families
too.
are like, wait a minute, what's all this rainbow shit? Why are you pushing like two dudes making like they're like, we don't want our kids seeing this shit.
Right.
So you just lost all three of your markets, and that's all of our like fantasy, sci-fi. Everything's gone now.
Yeah,
we
have Disney Plus now, but not for anything new. Like, and there for a while we didn't have Disney Plus at all. But I turned it back on because we heard a song that was like on the Jungle Book, and my son was like, I've seen videos of the songs, but I don't think I've seen the whole movie. I was like, all right, we got to watch these classics, Meanwhile, he got hooked on Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, like from the 90s, I was like, that's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Sure, find whatever you like,
Right. It's interesting to me to watch because, I want to give Dungeons and Dragons a chance. But I know it's going to be tongue-in-cheek, and I really am starved for more Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I will say it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's mostly just light. It's like a light
fun
movie.
Okay, I can handle that.
It's like a light adventure heist movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I want,
it's a
I'm
comedy.
ready for something serious, man, to come down the pike. You know what I mean? Like, something.
Yeah,
cool
like
as hell.
Have
like
you
this
noticed
is
though?
fantasy, like something that will the vanguard that will set the new standard in fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings
Nothing
honor,
takes itself
honor
serious
into
anymore.
things,
Like
they don't take
everything
it
winks at the
serious,
camera.
yes.
I really
it's all
think a
bunch of
part of
hipsters.
that. So, and I've talked about this on other streams and stuff like this, but I've heard this thing called meta modernism, and I don't know if you've heard of this before, but basically, it was coined with the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the idea behind it is that you take modernism, which would be like the old westerns where the good guy is right and the bad guy is wrong, and you save the girl at the end. We have the basic kind of tropes and stuff, and then postmodernism came in and deconstructed those tropes and archetypes, right?
Blazing Saddles.
And the idea, and what they're trying to do now, or every hero has to be a piece of shit or whatever. So the other side of those is meshing those together, and the synthesis on the other side of that is meta-modernism. And the idea is that, like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, you have a family. It's basically a family-oriented movie, like The Incredibles even. And the whole idea is that even though we deconstruct all of the major characters, like the father, he's kind of pussy whipped and does whatever the mom says, and the mom is she has her problems. Like every character is deconstructed basically, and then at the very and actually like visually, like they actually become rocks, right? And then at the other end of the movie, what saves everything is the lessons that you learn from the traditionalist modernist stuff, the truths of good versus evil, and good should win, and why it should win, and stuff like that, being deconstructed and coming out the other side. So all the truths of being deconstructed and all the truths that first built it, they come together, and in the end of that movie, family values wins, right? No matter what they said bad about being in a family and all the troubles and tribulations or whatever, it comes out that family values wins, and that's kind of like what they're saying is hopefully will be the next art form, because postmodernism sucks.
Yes, well, I hate deconstructionism. I mean, that's
exactly.
Right out
If you're gonna do it, then take something away from it.
Well,
like
it's
give me a lesson.
Yep.
Cynicism has really won over in that generation.
And nihilism, like
nihilism.
What's the point?
but they don't believe in any heroes, you know. And I got to be honest, a lot of their heroes failed, so they didn't have a lot of people to look up to. But it doesn't mean all heroes fail. It just means, you know, some of those did.
Well, I think some of there's also the indoctrination that the artists were getting in schools, like that whole Marxist deconstructionist, you know, where they have to get into your brain and make you not like. It was that demoralization. All that stuff was being instituted in the '60s. So what? A couple generations of artists have been fed all that stuff, and I think we saw the first wave of it in the '90s, and now we're seeing like the full tidal wave right now.
Yeah, all American history is bad. None of the good stuff is real. You just,
it started rolling in 2014, roughly, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I remember working in the gaming industry and seeing the tide happen in real time, where like anybody that actually had talent and was worth a damn left the industry, and like they were just replaced by these people who were watching The Daily Show on Office Time on Hulu Plus, and they were all purple haired and, you know, nose rings and shit, and it's
that's where they get their political opinions. From comedians.
Well, I blame The Daily Show for their debating tactics.
I will say this though, I do respect comedians. I didn't mean to say from comedians, but I will say this. Those guys, they had a purpose. Like they obviously had a bias, you know.
Right.
And which was the problem. A comedian should laugh at the king too. They should be able to tear down anybody, you know.
Anybody. They should laugh at everybody.
Everybody, and they stopped doing that.
Look at what happened. Look at what happened when the fool is being, you know, basically arrested for making fun of the king. Then you lost all comedy, because like I remember hearing Jerry Seinfeld like 5-6 years ago. He's like, I won't do. Well, Jerry Seinfeld, who's like the most, you know, milquetoast innocuous comedian out there. He's like, I won't do college tours anymore because somebody will get a hair across their ass, and the next thing I know, I'm canceled. You know, and then look, they went after Chappelle. Chappelle is like one of the greatest comedians of our time, probably the greatest comedian.
I think he stops, dude. I think he stops. Really,
I steals his jokes, but sure. I'm serious.
I mean, maybe.
Does he really?
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Jokes from?
Owen Benjamin. He stole his LGBT joke.
Oh shit!
Oh,
the one with the
like
car?
almost word for word.
Oh damn!
There's actually videos on YouTube where they compare the two, like the delivery, the almost word for word.
Like Amy Schumer, who steals all.
I know Amy Schumer does
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oof.
Frig,
that sucks. I didn't know that.
But not necessarily he.
Well, I liked him until right now. Damn.
His writers.
I know. Thanks, Aaron.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Anything else you want to ruin tonight, Aaron?
Here's a balloon. Pop it.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just deconstructing heroes. It's fine. Just kidding.
That's awesome. Oh shit. So, with that said, so we kind of answered our first question because we were like, why aren't there more fantasy IPs out there, and what's going on? But I think that was the full answer. Do you think it'll be hard to bring it back, you know, to where we get like a full-scale Conan movie that is just awesome?
I think it's coming. It hasn't happened yet, but I think that there will be a property that will come out of this that will be fantasy, and it will. Hopefully it will set the standard, kind of like how Game of Thrones set the standard for a while for you know fantasy. There'll be another one that's just it's looking. Unfortunately, Prime bought a lot of shit up. Like Amazon bought a bunch of stuff up, and it's just garbage. So anything corporate is gonna be garbage, and that's why I really think it's the next big thing is gonna come out of either a small studio, or you know just a straight up, you know, indie guy. I would say a small studio could be considered indie. Like what's a studio? You know, a studio could be like 3 dudes. You know, so I think the next big thing will come out of, you know, a small place, decentralized.
Even Disney.
That's what I hope.
I look at like the way that the CCP psyoped us with TikTok and all these other short form entertainment. You know, the dopamine hits every 30 seconds.
Right.
I think we're like the last generation that actually has an attention span.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I mean,
so
kids aren't going to
just like music. You know, just like with music, man. Like, I'm hoping what you're saying about the, you know, the small place, because that's what music used to do. It used to be independent and underground, and the good shit was there, and that's where everybody gravitated to.
Yep.
Right.
You know, that's why.
Well, let's not forget, like the Cthulhu stuff was H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard. They weren't mainstream when they were alive.
Yeah, they broke out after they died.
Not saying we all got to die to get famous or whatever, but at the same time, like it came from a small source,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's the dinosaurs analogy. It's like these big industries are the dinosaurs, and when they go extinct, the meek, small mammals crawl out from under there and
That's
start
exactly what I was talking about with T-Bunny yesterday. I was on his show, and we were talking about that. I even called it the dinosaur media. Yeah, exactly. With the dinosaur media, they don't know that they're already bleeding out. Like they're done. They don't know that yet, though, unfortunately.
Right.
And the real stuff that's happening is like on our shows.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is the new media.
Hey, Edwin.
It's decentralized, It's not flashy headlines and bright graphics. It's a dude in his basement.
Right.
Yeah.
And people watch more YouTube than any other streaming service.
Yeah.
Like they've been.
Yeah.
I saw that where like it's like a 10%
I watch YouTube more than
thing
anything.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
have cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
don't
enough stuff
have
on
any
YouTube.
streaming services.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I do. I have Prime. I
do
like
too.
Prime.
Oh yeah,
I
I got
have a lot.
Prime. I got Prime, but it wasn't like I didn't. I got it as a byproduct.
It was like
of-
extra. Yeah.
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 The dinosaur media will fall just in time for us to be all massacred by the killer AI robots. It's true.
Not all of
probably
us will
true.
be killed. Not us loyal to the robots.
Yeah.
No robot here.
Welcome our robot.
Y'all hear what he's saying, right? Like he's
Pro
ready
robot.
he's ready to serve his robot overlords.
Yeah.
I like
Yes,
Check
it.
out my
yes.
shorts.
Yeah.
Leave it to Murph. Leave it to Murph. Yes. Oh shit, man.
And then Butlerian Jihad.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, ooh, wow, where are we at now? That's the question.
We're
What
just
is-
deconstructing everything.
Yeah, we're just right
Even
here.
Aaron
It's fine.
said, our stuff isn't going to matter till we're dead, so let's just end it all.
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Likey sheet.
So, okay, so what is crucial to a fantasy IP,
IP.
that it cannot lose? And if it loses it, you just don't think it'd be fantasy anymore.
Probably something
I don't know. I guess
supernatural.
the obvious one would be like it's aesthetic, right? Like if you change it from being fantasy to say urban or something like that, yeah, sure, you
Well,
can't do
Star
that.
Star Wars is technically a fantasy.
I would think
I like
so,
that,
right?
Mo.
Instead of
Right.
kingdoms, you have planets.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, he ripped off Akira Kurosawa with the whole ancient Japan and ocean, and but
Yes.
like to me, I think it just
And
needs,
sci-fi from. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but like I think that fantasy just in general, like its biggest kind of like I guess keystone would be that it has some type of natural element. Everything else
That's
is
what I thought.
inconsequential.
Yes.
Right.
Like Ghost
That's what I
Story
There
is a
is-
fantasy.
There's an
It
actual
has to be.
good and evil, and not just people's characteristics. There's a force of good and evil.
It has to be mystical. I think it has to have a mystical
Ooh.
quality to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like Harry
Yeah.
Potter. I mean, it's a bunch of
But-
British kids.
That being said, like, are we talking sword and sorcery, or like what kind of fantasy we mean?
I think it could be any fantasy that
Yeah.
you're thinking about, any type, that you think about.
Well, like
I think
Game of
fantasy.
Thrones, like,
Yeah, I think it changes. You know what I mean? When I think of Conan, I think that's a different type of fantasy than
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
yeah.
Or Narnia.
Or Narnia.
Oh, yeah.
Narnia is
Yep.
very different. Because Narnia, it's a religious fantasy.
Yeah, it's very very
Right.
spiritual. There's a lot of
Yeah.
metaphors in there.
Yes.
I'll have to get into that. I don't know. My family watches that stuff, but I don't know. I don't really get in. I haven't got into Narnia. I'm not really into Harry Potter stuff either, though. So I don't know.
I
I'm
have
bad
to say,
at
though,
the mainstream stuff. I'm terrible.
the movie, I feel like Harry Potter is
I haven't liked
like
a lot of it.
the first two are really tough watch. Like I don't feel like they're good
Philosopher's
at all.
Stone. And,
But I feel
Until it
like the
gets more
third
mature.
onward is really good. Yeah.
Okay.
To
Where,
me,
like,
Harry
the
Potter
stakes raise,
feels-
or Is it
Harry
like
Potter
Yeah,
feels
it's more
kiddie to me.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's to me that's its charm is that
It is.
it's a
That's
whimsical
true.
kitty. Like it's not
agree
for
with you.
me, but it's something I could sit down with like my nephew or
Yeah.
The
you know.
magic system.
Yes.
The magic system drives me absolutely crazy.
Oh, yeah, it
like
makes no
more
sense.
than
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Like Lord of the Rings drives me crazy, but like Harry
There's
Potter,
no rules.
I
There's
can't
no
do it.
rules, it just-
I'm like,
Power
oh,
creep.
just whatever. There's no structure to it at all. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to make sense.
It's Leviosa.
Yeah. It's that whole British thing where they make up silly billy words. It's like, all right, whatever, dude. Yeah, diagonally. All right, dude. Go, just stand over there, okay?
But what I really like about the Harry Potters, especially the back end of it, it's very kind of like on the precipice of World War II, where
Yes.
people know there's evil
Feels that
going
way.
on, but people don't want to admit it, and there's a lot of things going on. So I really
That's
like
fair.
that intrigue. You know what I mean? That there's
Yes.
the good people aren't good through the whole world's eyes, and I kind of like that. You know what I mean? Where like
Did you
Lord of the
guys-
Rings, you know the good guys, and everyone knows Aragorn's good. No one ever questions it. It's,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry,
that's not true. He's questioned, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and then especially because there's like a prophecy about his ass.
As the ranger,
and then he
he's
fulfills
questioned.
it. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah,
who saw
Strider.
that coming? Oh wait, there
Yeah.
was a whole prophecy about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In
He
the
was
movies, they
questioned
don't
at
really
first,
play
so-
that up. I don't think, but
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
right.
Have you ever seen
Um,
what AI did to Harry Potter?
No.
No, what it did.
No.
So there is a whole series, and it's just random things like Harry Squatter, and he's like a ripped out of his tree like gym rat or whatever. But I just
Nice.
posted in the private my favorite, which is Hungry Potter, where
Hungry
everybody's
Potter.
just morbidly obese.
Oh my
It was like,
god.
was it Voldemort? I'll defeat you like I defeated my breakfast. Like,
Ah!
yeah.
Finally, an IP I could see myself in.
like they made everybody like super like 400 pounds
Yeah.
like as a minimum.
Oh my
Take
god.
that,
Oh,
scrambled eggs.
man. Finally, diversity.
So I
Yeah,
think the
inclusion.
one thing that I like to see. I was watching. Has anybody here watched The Crown on Netflix?
No.
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 You never even
sorry.
told me about it.
What's it
Derek.
about?
Okay, so it's about.
It sounds
Queen
familiar, but I
Elizabeth.
don't know.
It's about
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth and her reign.
Is she
you know.
black?
The first?
What?
Yeah. No, yeah, it is
Is the
Netflix.
actress black playing her or something?
Where am I at? What's going
Is
on
she
here?
black and trans?
No, but they're doing. It's like it's almost like a biopic on, the whole,
That doesn't mean they won't change your race, even if it's a
No, they're not.
biopic.
They're trying to accurately depict what happened
Okay.
from her taking over from her, King George, clear
Oh,
on up
so
to now.
22.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they even have another season coming out, and I think it's going to be about her dying and all that, and like finishing off her
Okay.
reign. And it's interesting because I thought I was going to be bored to tears, and some of it is boring, and I'm not going to lie about that. It's very boring.
Eh.
But there are parts where they show
Really making me
you-
want to watch this.
I don't expect you to watch it, and I don't think I'm going to watch all of it, but I watched some of it. And I think the thing that I picked up the most was, and what I like to see in fantasy, and the things that I enjoy, are kingdoms, and how important kings and queens are to the people, and what their position means to people. And it was weird because in this show, it's almost like it's a fantasy that you're watching, because you can't believe that people would look up to somebody and love their king and queen like this, but they did. They
People
actually
do it now to
did love them.
They
politicians.
do it now.
Yeah,
Not only
celebrity.
politicians, but the king and queen. I'm like, why are they
Oh,
covering
yeah.
the king and queen bullshit when I'm not in Britain? Like, I'm in the middle of America, dude. Why
Right,
do I
but-
care about
But the Britons actually care tons.
They call
for
him
it.
mum. Yeah. They call her
it's,
mum.
it's amazing how much effort they put into it and what they really believe about it. It's almost at a
crazy.
fantasy level.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it kind of blows me away that we actually lived through that time where there was a monarchy that had that much, power over their people like that. It's pretty amazing
Sure.
to see, and I was like, "That's interesting." I think there's a lot of things to take from that,
Democracy has failed us.
Yeah. Well, it showed Winston Churchill and how he he orchestrated a lot of things, up after World War II, even with her reign, and that's pretty cool to watch too. He was a very interesting
shitting
man.
on
So I thought that
Churchill?
was a cool thing. No,
They're not immortalizing it to bring it just down.
Yeah, don't get me started on Churchill. No.
No, and that's
Yeah, okay,
that's
all
one
of you.
thing.
All of you Churchill guys. Let's not forget the Dardanelles. How about that? How'd the Dardanelles go?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Let's go.
That's funny. QS Manta. Okay, hi. How are you? These sure are some 2023 questions. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
No, but the truth is, I mean, I love World War II, and I think a lot of fantasy is based out of that. And
Oh yeah.
with no
Yeah.
question, I think the figures that came out of that war and that time frame, it's amazing.
Well,
and
Tolkien
just
and
thinking
Lewis.
of Churchill,
I
A
mean,
lot of it was
himself.
mythologized. Yeah, sure.
It was,
Well, I think
but I
we
feel
even
like
do it.
for
Something,
good
though.
reason.
Don't you think
Yeah,
we
I'm
still
not
do
saying
that?
it's bad.
No,
Yeah.
no, you bring up a really
All
good
wars
point,
are
though.
mythologized.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's one thing why a lot of modern writing sucks, and
Yeah.
that it's derivative of other writing rather than lived experiences.
Right.
Like,
We were
Tolkien
just
was
having this
writing-
conversation.
Yeah, Tolkien was writing his stories in the in the trenches of World War One. Like these were actually like Hemingway. The guy lived on a boat, like.
You're muffled.
Are we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
we're
muffled,
losing
man.
you.
Oh shit! Sorry, I don't know.
Sorry.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're
You're
fine.
back.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, like Hemingway wrote all of his shit, on a boat, and
Yeah.
a lot of this is, like the
Drunk
Great
on
American
whiskey.
novel. Yeah, he was drunk off his head, but like a lot of it, like the Great American Novel, were people who lived life. You had
Yeah.
God, we have Walden Pond over here in New England.
Yeah.
Guys out in the woods writing shit. But what we're seeing now is like a Xerox of a Xerox. Like they're like, I
It
like
is.
Dungeons and Dragons. Let's make a copy of Dungeons and Dragons. And
It's
it's
so
like,
true. But Murph and I were just talking about this before you guys jumped in, behind the scenes here is what's going on. And we were like, we haven't lived through anything. We're all spoiled right now. Our generation even, we came on the tail end of the boomers who, were on the tail end of World War II. And it's like, we don't have any lived experiences like they had.
well, we
know
don't.
what I mean?
Some of us do.
There was 9/11 and
Some
like
do.
20 years
Well-
of the war on terror, but sure.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
yeah,
not only that, but
yeah.
like we don't have like these epic things like the Nazis, but we do have
The
like
Depression-
homelessness and
The
Well, they
Depression,
tried.
World War I, and World War II are very different than what our generation was.
They tried to make
Exactly.
us hate goat farmers in Afghanistan just so
Yeah.
they could,
Yeah. Hey,
take over
I
the
know
don't
that.
fucking
show
opium
that.
fields.
Most fake news. I wasn't wrong about that. Fake news.
Okay,
It's
but
true.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nobody had lived experiences or fought through wars.
Oh yeah, it's
But
just
I
a
feel
different
like
generation.
But I feel like the wars that we saw,
They
was a
felt
whole
it
different
more
threat.
too than we feel the wars. That 20 war didn't. We don't feel it like they did back then. You know what
well,
I
they
mean?
didn't have
Like,
clean cut wars. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Americans,
yeah.
regardless of their opinion, after Pearl Harbor went up, they're like, goddamn nips gotta go, and it was like you had a unified country versus the Japanese, and
It's true.
whereas
It's true.
now we're like look at what's happening in the Best Buy country,
Mm-hmm.
the blue and yellow country, like we're like people are like, get the hell out of there, this is money laundering, like there's no
Yeah,
no
definitely.
like
Yeah.
well,
It's
there's no
always
jingoism.
been money laundering.
Yeah, it really has. But we were, as a people, we were so much less informed before the information age that we were
Yes.
better unified.
Yep.
And I think
Yeah.
that's a part of the mythologizing of the wars. I'm not trying to discount World War I or II at all.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about that until we die. But I will say that like the propaganda was, as Chris was saying, is like much more secure. That's one of the reasons that they're so
Yeah.
concerned lately about misinformation. Well, that just
Yeah.
means discussion. They're afraid about
Yep.
like
Right.
discussing
Yep, it's
true.
ideas and opinions.
thinking
I
for
see what you
yourself.
mean there, but I still feel like the threat of World War II was much bigger, and there was a clear-cut evil at that point.
I mean, Hitler was
I don't
getting
feel
close
like we
to
always
winning.
know the clear-cut evil anymore. Does that
There
make
was
sense?
definitely a point. There was definitely
Well,
a point where
I mean, he was
You know,
running out
they
of
were
oil
very
right
close.
away, but
He was what?
He was running out of oil right away, and then his loss in Russia. Come on, dude. He never should have expanded. That was his
two fronts, man. That's where he lost.
They call him a nationalist, but he expanded. It's like a nationalist doesn't expand.
But I mean, if he was smart, he could have took over all of Europe if he didn't with us and Russia.
Potentially,
yeah,
I mean, I agree.
He wasn't. That's his problem. Is that like I trust. We have a family history with this guy. I'm just saying. But like, know thine enemy, and this guy was just basically a dumbass who was good at art, and he failed out of art school, and his parents died. And he was an angry little shit who never got his way and threw tantrums. And essentially, he got into a position where, like, he never held like a real job. He never had like any real leadership skills or anything. But he could shovel a good line of shit, and he actually says it in his book.
He's a very good speaker.
I'm a good public speaker, and that's it shows you how doomed we are as a species, where we're better able to follow stupid people who can speak well.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah, there is an art to speech. There really is. You can convince people. Yeah.
The concentration camps. Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I'm just saying, is he going to do concentration camps if he doesn't expand? I don't know.
But I mean, he did it's not like the camps were there for 6 months. Like, there were years of that.
Well, he started with the ghettos.
Yeah.
Yeah, Poland, Warsaw, like that whole area. And then when they marched on France, which is where my grandparents fled, they're like, okay, we're out of here. These guys are folding like a deck of cards. We're out. And they fled to Canada. And, they saw the writing on the wall because, that's the thing is it wasn't this sudden thing. There were
like a real, I guess, like a real nationalist would be okay, we're going to disconnect from outside sources and we're just going to like homestead. Everybody grabs, 2 acres and you're going to, but that would be more nationalistic, right? Mm-hmm. Be like relying on the local nation and all that other stuff.
I think him and his
but their problem wasn't with the Jews is not nationalism. Like those, I think what I'm having the cross wire is like, they're 2 different things. So
I think
he had a
Germany
with them.
Yeah, that's very different. It's not the same.
I think they wanted
nationalism.
revenge because of how negatively Germany was affected by World War I and everything.
Yeah. Oh, the Treaty of Versailles guaranteed.
Well, and I mean, go watch Babylon Berlin. That show Babylon Berlin. Like people bitch about trannies and drags and the
Weimar
drugs
Republic
and all. Yeah, the Weimar. Come on, dude. It's a show in Weimar Republic before World War II. So you kind of get to see, obviously it's dramatized and all this other stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. I've heard it said, well, ask what books were they burning,
Yeah.
Sure.
Wait, what? Now that you say that, what were the books that they were burning? You just
Entarte Kunst.
Well, where do you think some of this gender ideology came from?
Yep, that's where it was.
I mean,
that's what they were burning.
I always assumed
Weimar
it was
Republic.
just I just assumed it was every book that wasn't stamped by their schooling
Nazis.
at that time.
No. Yeah. Well, Hitler did have this weird fascination with like he hated postmodern art, like impressionists and stuff. He found it garbage. Because he was an artist, so like his idea of an artist was somebody that could render the human form flawlessly, and so he actually labeled anything that came after whatever period of art he studied as Entartete Kunst or degenerate art, and that's why France was like so flipped out, is because they had all these like impressionist art collections, and Hitler's like, oh, I know what we are going to fill our chimneys with, like. So they hit all.
Yeah, they were burning money because they had hyperinflated their cash.
The Reichsmark.
So, like, then he reestablished their currency under a socialist economy, fascist socialist, which means like the government seizes the corporations, right? And then he started working with the central bank. And you really got to ask, who was the central bank? Who was giving this dude all this cash?
Who's in charge of that?
So,
come on.
Just questions.
Nobody wants to answer.
So what? I want to know your point to that though, because you're kind of going towards you're saying America had hands in that.
Oh yeah, they
No,
did.
it was
No.
it was people in Wall Street as well as the British Bank. There was a British bank. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but yeah,
It's
they
here now.
specifically funded. And you hear names like the Bush family and stuff like that were involved. Prescott Bush. With investments into the German government and all that, but the central bank itself, yeah, that's a good one. Who's giving them all the money?
Yeah.
Yeah, the World Economic.
It's interesting. It is interesting. Still,
Well,
I don't know
it's
if that
even
takes
now
away
like
any less threat, though. I mean, I still think he was a major threat for everybody to
Oh,
get
yeah.
behind.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a
It's
total
like
asshole.
Darth Vader, you know. It's
Well,
like
Yeah, definitely.
you know he's the definite.
Don't give
villain.
him the power to do all that.
Yeah, well,
all that
that's-
stuff.
right.
The only reason why he even had the power to do that is because you took everything away from a group of people. When the
people were
German
desperate.
people were blamed for
Yeah.
World War One, essentially, even though a Serbian
Right.
was the one who killed Archduke Ferdinand. The
Right.
German people were the ones that were undeservedly Granted, everybody should have been punished for it, but they got more than their fair share, and it destroyed their country.
I
So when
mean,
you have
Germany
people who have nothing-
shouldn't have attacked.
No,
there was
but-
that problem.
But you
the
have
Schliemann Plan. Ooh.
Well, you have people with nothing to lose, and they're being
Yep.
told, "Hey,
Oh, right.
here's the scapegoat.
Yes.
See that guy
There's a-
over there? See that Jew over there who's got one kid instead of your 5
He's
kids
to
in
blame.
your farm?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
don't
got
belong.
money. You don't. Here's a gun.
Yeah.
Guess who's
Right.
gonna have money?
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah,
It
and then
is.
look
I mean-
look how it's working in our society today, where
Yeah.
there's a
Millionaires.
specific. Well, there's cis. You can
Yep,
finish
yep,
the
Yeah, that's a
sentence.
slur.
So and now those and what? Yeah, and those are the people being blamed. It's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's Marxism for you. They always have to
Well.
create the oppression Olympics.
I didn't mean to get so Hitler talky, but so how's fantasy doing?
General.
I'll
No,
tell you
I
this.
brought that
how,
up though. I mean,
How
that's,
about
it's fine.
with Assassins, the movie Assassins, where they play the
Okay.
reels of Hitler in the background and stuff like that?
I have no
and,
idea what you're talking about.
You never
What's
saw
this
that movie?
No. What?
Is that Antonio Banderas?
Yeah.
No,
Antonio Banderas.
no. Isn't that the name of it? No, Wizards. I'm sorry. Not
Oh yeah,
Assassins.
yeah. Ralph
Wizards.
Bakshi. Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph Bakshi. And they in the background they play the World War II stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
really?
I remember there's this one scene where she's like,
Ralph
"Assassin!"
Bakshi.
and the fucking that one robot shoots a dude. Oh, it's such a great scene.
This movie's called Wizards?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
Wizards.
Ralph Bakshi cartoon.
Y'all never saw
And,
I have
that?
to look at it.
Yeah,
Not
No,
for
when it
kids.
come out.
It's 1973, I think.
9.
I probably saw it
Was
and
it?
didn't,
Oh,
don't
wow.
remember it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it
it's,
was like
it's got a big titty
7
fairy in it.
You'll like it.
wow.
With a
Okay.
surly old wizard.
You know what I think is also one place that fantasy is kind of escaping to a little bit. We were
Yeah.
talking about it, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
So we were talking
Yeah.
about gaming, and I do believe there are some games that are pretty great that people really love.
Well, Zelda would be considered fantasy,
Yeah.
Sure. But
right? Or anyone disagree with that?
no, it's
No,
fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
I think for a while Skyrim was carrying that mantle.
Dude,
Yeah.
Skyrim, yeah, that game, that was like the #1 fantasy game for what? How many years
For
now?
10
I
How
don't
many
know.
time,
consoles
man.
and
Long time.
platforms is that thing on?
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
think it's great. I still think
Dude,
when you go back, it's
my
still
friend's 8-year-old son had it on his Switch playing some
That's
some mod of it.
nuts.
I'm like, are you
I-
serious?
Yeah, I couldn't get through the game unless it was modded. Like I had all the dragons and they were all Macho Man.
awesome. Oh right.
Yeah, I'm on fire. Yeah.
That
Ridiculous.
why wasn't
is
that
awesome.
game ever made? Dragons that talk like Macho Man. Oh my gosh!
Macho Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Wanna
was
see the fire?
that intro. Just that intro where he
Oh,
there's the when you're about to get your head lopped off, and the guy's I now pronounce
Yeah, right.
you enemy, and also you hear echoing off the mountains. You don't stop in the macho madness. It's like there it is again. And it's like, wow, yeah.
That's ridiculous. Nuh-uh. That's too funny.
That is awesome.
See, you need to make clips of that shit and put it on your YouTube.
Oh my god!
That's hilarious.
That would be
Dude,
clipped.
that would go viral. That would definitely go viral.
Viral?
That's too much.
Viral.
Viro.
Vibro.
Whew. Oh man, that's awesome.
Well, since we're destroying everything, I thought destroying the English language would be our next
Yeah.
viral.
Hey, shit,
Ask
I'm
me
with
a
you.
question.
I do that all the time.
No, I'm saying yeah.
Yeah. Just wait till you read my comic and be like, geez,
Well, if you haven't taken enough shots at my manhood, Murph, I think we can go there.
It's more the chat than me. It really is.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
yeah, no. Don't
I
encourage
started
him.
that shit.
I didn't force you to like my shorts, all right? That's not on me.
Whoa.
I
Never
see
said
you
I liked
there,
them.
shaking
They're
that.
awesome.
Never
Awfully
said I
tight.
liked them.
They say if you got it, flaunt it. So, you know.
Yeah.
it's-
Kind of rides up.
I dare you.
Strictly
I
thing.
triple dog dare you.
Okay.
No,
It's
no,
happening.
no.
Yep. Why can't I see the pockets?
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's what
Oh,
they'll
man.
be like.
That was a good conversation, but damn,
It'll be
where do we
short
go
enough
after
where
Hitler?
the pockets are
That's
still
the
coming
Yeah.
out.
Well, you're going to be banned off of YouTube for that, so.
Yeah.
you
You're
know.
sorry.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's all good. It needed to be said.
Go figure.
Oh my God! You see what
Yeah.
Mo just put?
Yeah,
Oh my God!
pack of syrup.
Is that sweet corn?
That's all
Wow.
you, Murph. That's all you, Murph.
That's straight up. That's corn on the cob. Yeah, that's impressive, son.
Oh man!
Oh, this corn
Like,
stuff.
shit. You having a good day today? Yeah, I'm having a good day.
See, but that's another chat thing where Derek's like, the corn in your backyard isn't sweet, and everyone's in the chat like, how do you know, Derek, that you can make such a claim? And,
No,
The
you
corn
said
in
that.
your-
well, and it is
You
sweet
said
corn
that.
though. It is.
Yeah.
You
sweet
lucked
corn.
out. You lucked out.
backyard.
Yeah,
No, you did.
knock
I
on
mean,
the
you
back
don't know how many
door.
farmers do not grow sweet corn in the fields. They're growing other types of corn.
The passion you have for the sweet.
No, it's just you're
the
so
non-sweet corn.
ridiculous. Oh,
Sweet
I'm going to
corn
go
is
break
good.
off a piece and eat it. That's what you start doing. It's so
Damn,
ridiculous.
that's getting clipped. That's our next short.
That's Murph's next short.
Right.
oh shit.
Yeah, you know the title's gonna be "Is Dirk a beaver?" and then just show you.
Nom, 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 nom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
Derek,
Oh,
Derek
shit.
likes corn on the cob in my shorts.
yeah.
man.
Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Derek's all like, why did I invite these guys?
Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah. I'm kicking
First of all-
everybody. I'm kicking everybody. Everybody's gone. It's just me. Hey!
Like, first of all, it's all the damn purple. Sorry.
Yeah, what the
Yeah, all the purple. Yeah.
You're right. You're exactly right.
Yeah, you got
terrible.
purple and black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
LA
Oh
god.
man.
If Murph wasn't such a city boy.
Aw.
New York City.
That's awesome.
Terrible.
That's a good-
Hmm.
Terrible.
So, do you think we'll ever
So-
have a fantasy boom where there's like movies and TV shows and? Because
think
even when
in the
Game of
90s
Thrones was going, there was nothing else, right?
Dude, they
Like, that
killed
was
it.
Big.
Not
If-
really.
If that
yeah.
last season was good
Oh.
and they landed it, you know, they cinched
Yeah.
the landing, we could have
Yeah.
ushered in the '90s level of fantasy. But
Yeah,
no,
I agree.
everything
I
has
agree with
been
that.
garbage. Like the last season of Game of Thrones was trash. The
Wheel of Time
feminized-
was shit.
yeah, Wheel of
Rings
Time
of
was
Power.
The Rings of Power was
Rings of
one of those
Power was
worst
shit.
things ever.
Willow
Yeah.
was shit.
Yeah, Willow was so bad they
Yeah.
removed it from the streaming service.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah, and the problem though is they don't it's either intentional, they're trying to demoralize us and make it so that we don't have anything we enjoy anymore, or they're that level of incompetent. Like they
I
just
think they're incompetent.
I think
everything
it's
has to
incompetent.
be feminist, everything has to be rainbow, everything has like
Yes.
I'm sorry, but like as the only non-white guy here, like it annoys me when
I'm
I
not
see
white.
He likes to bring
Okay,
that up,
Murph.
yeah.
Clear. I'm
Murphy
clear.
is not an Irish surname.
Yeah, right, right.
But
The,
like
the Irish aren't human. Come on.
It's true.
It
just ask Darwin.
It bothers me when we see European fantasy.
Yeah.
Like
said
European fantasy.
we Irish were less evolved. Sorry, go ahead.
Like I've been privy to all the different like, you know, other like wuxia, for example, Asian like Chinese fantasy. You know, in Korea, my stuff, like we got the seegyok, which is like period pieces, like period dramas or whatever that are set in like the Chosun period or whatever of Korea.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And it's really, it's nice. I would stop watching in an instant if some white dude walked in the middle of a seegyok episode, you know, or like,
yeah.
And it bothers me to all end when I'm watching like European fantasy and they're like, well, we got to put black people in there. Why?
Yeah, The Witcher. Yeah,
Witcher.
Dude, The Witcher could have been great too.
Dude, Witcher was feminist Harry
so
Potter
Irish.
in Wakanda.
How
Yeah,
come he
it was
lives
terrible.
strictly on corn and not potatoes?
That's perfect.
But that's why I
awesome.
don't think we'll see another boom like in our
For a
maybe
while.
our lifetime. I don't know, but like
I hope not.
the
on
Nope.
that time.
indie stuff.
No,
like,
come on, don't black pillows, Chris.
well, like the indie stuff might take off. I mean, remember The Crow when Jay O'Barr wrote
Yeah.
The Crow and that went mainstream.
It might
Like,
just
Yeah.
take the right IP. You never know.
yeah, it's gonna
Well,
take
'cause-
something big.
After
I think
Lord
it
of the
will
Rings,
take distribution, really. I think it will be getting indie into enough eyes because the internet has made it so hard to find anything. You know, like it takes a long time to build an audience because the net is so wide. So,
Yep,
which
yep,
is
yep.
fine, but at the same time, you know, it will happen eventually. People will be
Well,
like,
there's
"Oh my
also-
God, you've never heard of this?" And yeah, it'll be like 5 years or 6 years or 10 years after it first came out.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to be at least a half a decade. But like, look at Steam, for example, the gaming platform Steam.
Yeah.
There is such a glut of games. Like more games came out this year than the combined first 10 years of video games.
That's
Right.
nuts.
And yeah, so it's just this constant glut, and it's turned into a signal to noise thing where people are just trying to find good shit. And
Yeah.
the problem is it's not that it's not being seen; it's just being drowned out by garbage. There's so much shit
Yeah.
out there now.
Dude, exactly. That's my exact point. Is there's so much stuff, and we know, like in our generation, the internet was born and hatched, and now we have this and all this stuff. So like we saw what it was like, how the market just slowly it mushroomed out, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, to where it is now, to where it's harder and harder to be seen.
Unmanageable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean that you can't be. It just means like
Yes.
it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Well, none of us would have the opportunity with our IPs if it didn't.
Nope.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm so glad that at least I have a chance.
Yeah.
Like if I had to
Right.
produce this book and then submit it to a publisher to even
Yeah.
be seen by anybody in the public,
Yep.
get
Yeah.
real, dude. That'd suck.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
that's
not only that,
definitely-
all the bullshit that goes on. Like when I was in the
Hail
gaming
Felix.
industry.
Oh look, it's Felix.
Felix.
Hey.
What's up,
Howdy,
Felix?
howdy.
Hail and bow, brother.
One of the worst skills that you have to develop working in these creative corporations. It's something that I learned when I was in the gaming industry, which was if you have a great idea, you don't have a great idea. If you have a great concept, you don't have a great concept. What you have is something that you have to create a proof of concept about and then convince other people above you that it's their idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
And
Makes
that
sense.
sucks so bad.
Well, and then then they bring in other creators
Yep.
to
then they fuck it up.
change it and manipulate it. Yeah. And then it has to conform to certain, oh, well, this is what our studies say the market wants. Yeah.
Or just their own personal whims, you know?
That's probably, you would know, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks so bad sitting in these meetings and like you've got your head writer who's like not taking notes on his own shit. So you're like, hey, I've been taking notes on your stuff and you've said a lot of conflicting things. Oh, like,
Yeah.
which one is it? You like remember Red Shirt when he went to BlizzCon?
Yes,
They knew more
vaguely,
shit.
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, he knew more shit than the writers of their own property.
Right, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's
that
ugly.
was that was a bit of a thing at the time, wasn't it?
Well, if you can't get jazzed about your own stuff, how do you expect your audience to get jazzed about it?
Exactly.
It's true.
And I think that's
Very
kind
true.
of, I think that's a bit of where the next hotness will come from why it will come from the decentralized indie scene is because it won't be a conglomerate of people working in a corporation who have to work together because they work together because they have a job together instead of they're there together because they all like the idea, so
It's a
just
passion
gonna
product
be,
and not a
yeah,
job.
it'll be very different. Like I really see the future of entertainment being very different. The
I think
problem
better
is
too.
getting away. Better. Getting away from even things like YouTube and Rumble. On top of that, it'll just be, hopefully it'll be decentralized because relying on these corporations to say, oh yeah, free speech, we totally acknowledge that. But the problem with free speech is that's, if you're an absolutist, I mean, that's not a good thing. So, because there's a lot of stuff we don't want to see in society. So, I don't know. It's tough. I think that people will have to start providing their own stuff. That's what it'll come to.
Yeah, and ultimately, like you were saying previously about like your shit may never take off in your lifetime.
Yeah.
If you see it to its end, you've accomplished it. It could be bad. It could be absolutely, not sell
Tell
your
your
shit.
story.
Yep, and finish it. Like see it through to completion because people aren't going to want to buy an incomplete series. And like 20 years from now, when your kids are like, suddenly get approached by, because they're the executors of your estate, and they're like, hey, we'd like to publish, Immortal Rising or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but he's on his, like, he's not here anymore. It's like, well, we got the whole thing right here.
But my kids have that property. Exactly. Yeah, my kids can keep going to Comic-Cons and selling my stuff,
Yep.
All right. Well, and when I think of, Howard, the guy who wrote Conan. Anyway, when I think of him, and he wrote all these stories, and it's like he wrote books, and they turned them into pulp and different things like that, and then next thing you know, they're turning into comics, and there's just this continuation of the character. It's amazing to see how it evolved, and how people thirst for it even now. You know what I mean? Like they really want more of that shit.
Like Barry Windsor Smith? Are you kidding me?
Well, how long has it been? Has it been 100 years since Conan was created?
It can't be 100.
Roughly, yeah.
It's
Is
been
it really?
close. Yeah, dude.
Because I think he was made in the 1920s.
Okay.
Yeah, he got a
Do you know
horrible life, too.
Do you know Frasetta's daughter's doing stuff now?
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
I watched her on Aureus
They've been doing
Press,
stuff.
and I'm like, and that was like 9 months ago, and I'm like, man, she is smoking. I gotta get her on my show.
Yeah.
That's his granddaughter, isn't it? Is that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you're
I
right.
listened to
I'm
the
sorry,
whole
it's not his
thing,
daughter's
and
granddaughter.
I don't just
Yeah.
mean like whatever her looks, whatever. Like just having her as a guest would be so cool.
Oh yeah.
I'd really like to pick her brain and listen to her stories.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at this. Imagine Murph and Dirk trying to sell Ballad of the Celestials at a con. So what's this book about? Murph immediately duct tapes Dirk's mouth closed. None of your business. Oh yeah. That is truth. Total truth.
yeah.
The second book's gonna have a lot of back history so there will be stuff. Okay. There will be things explained.
Yeah, it'll go around twice.
Shit.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
The tape will go around twice.
I ought to do a lost tapes thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just record
Definitely.
everything and just say it, and then it'll be a spoilers, lost tapes type of deal.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
shit.
And we release it in like 20 years.
Like it. I like it.
That'd be awesome. Dang. Okay, well,
What,
geesh, this has been fun. Should I do my thing there, Murph? Do the count in?
I have no idea. Oh yeah.
Should I do it?
Yeah,
Should I do
Yeah,
it
why
or
not?
not do it? We don't have to. I can wait till next episode.
Do you feel like it goes with
Wait.
this episode or no?
No, it doesn't go.
I don't
But
know.
none of them.
What's your
Derek
Conan thing?
Derek does like a pre-recorded a thing on music. And I honestly forget what he recorded for, but we could do it
Yeah,
next
I think.
week.
Why don't we wait till next one because we were having a good conversation, so I don't want to stop them.
Oh, no way. Let's see what you got. I want to see
Immortal
your
might
toys.
deconstruct it though.
Take my heroes again and just thwart them.
Yeah.
Thwart them.
There's no
Okay.
hope in this world. It is the
There is no hope.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
well,
of
I'll
your
tell you
heroes
this.
are drug addicts. It's like, okay.
You know, that's pretty close though when it comes to
It is. It is. When it's music, it's true.
Yeah.
Heroes are drug addicts.
Yeah.
at least all the good ones.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. So with this, we have a new segment that I've been trying to debut. We debuted one, like 3 weeks ago, and now I'm going to, this is episode 2 of The Count-In, and here we go.
All right, here we go, people. Let's get this party started. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3.
And a 1, and a 2, and a buckle my shoe.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Count-In with Derek Clay. Today, I want to talk about Jeff Tate. He's another vocalist that I admire, or at least I used to admire his music because he was in a really cool band, and at least a band I thought was cool at the time. They've changed over the years, and I don't like them like I used to, but I like their old music. Their first 5 albums, there are things from those 5 albums that I really enjoy. And of course, I'm talking about Queensryche, and Jeff Tate was the lead singer for that band for quite a while, till about 2012, which we'll get into that in just a moment. But basically, Jeff is one of those singers that is very dynamic. He has a range from a pretty low voice, actually, whenever he can talk, and he has that control that he can just pull his voice down to the lower register and then scream at the highest of highs. And the control that he has when he does it, it's almost operatic the way he does it, and it's pretty cool to hear. For those of you who don't like that, you may not like old school metal, but I love old school metal. It's what I always talk about. I cut my teeth on in music whenever I was playing drums, and it's what I grew up with, in the 80s. So it's like some of my favorite stuff, and Queensryche is one of those bands that I always go back and listen to. Their albums included Queensryche, The Warning, Rage for Order, Operation Mindcrime, and Empire. And those albums, I think, those are their strongest albums in their discography. Now, you may like things that came after that, you may not, but those are the albums that stick out to me and that I'll always go back to listen to Jeff Tate and other members of the band that are not currently in the band anymore, like Scott Rockenfield, the drummer. I would say if you really want to listen to Jeff Tate's range, you're going to want to listen to Take Hold of the Flame. He is in the upper registers in that song, but you can just hear the range and the control. And it's a great opener to, figure out who this band is. They wrote an album called Operation Mindcrime. I would say it's their magnum opus. It is their best album. It is their strongest album. It's well written, has a good story, and it's a concept album. And so if you want to go listen to what he can pull off, listen to those songs. Listen to Anarchy X, Spreading the Disease, Eyes of a Stranger, and The Mission. And then that album is when I first got to see them live and see him in action. And I'm going to tell you, he pulls it off live. He's fantastic, or he was in that era. Then they came out with another album called Empire, and that was kind of the end cap for me. They brought out songs, you might remember this one, Silent Lucidity. That was a pretty popular song. But the album, it really changed at that point, and it seems like they were writing for more hits than they were just being good writers. The songs that came out were very different than what had come out before. There were a few things to glean off the album, like Anybody Listening. What a great song. I like Best I Can, the opener. And, it's got some great musicianship, good concepts in the songs. and the ranges were great to hear Jeff sing it all, but kind of lackluster in the progressive side of things, and I think that's what made a lot of people listen to them, at least me as a fan. In 2012, Jeff parted ways with Queensryche and moved on. He is now doing solo touring, which he's still doing. He's still covering Operation Mindcrime live, but he is no longer in the band. Give Jeff Tate and Queensryche a listen, and I think you'll be satisfied with some of the early albums. So this is a salute to Jeff Tate for those albums. Thank you so much for your contribution and for making my experience of listening to metal in the 80s fun.
Metal.
So, so Immortal, why does Queensryche... I can't get it out. Why does Queensryche suck?
Actually, I 100% agree with everything Dirk said. I was addicted to Operation Mindcrime, and I came into it like in 2000, like around 2000. So I came into it way after it was released, and I couldn't stop playing the damn thing. I don't know why.
Listen to it.
Yeah, it's every now and again I'll pop it in and stuff, but it was just one of those things. Every now and again, I'll find a band or an album that I'll just listen to for like a year straight until it gets out of my system. You know?
Do that too.
And it was one of those.
Okay.
But just
I do the same thing.
Mary, that song Mary, oh my God, just like
Sweet Sister
his
Mary,
highs, dude, his lows in that same song, Mary, it's just impossible.
It's a duet.
You
He's
talk
got a woman
about
singing with him
opera.
in that.
I heard that he was trained as an opera, trained in opera. So
I think he does have some operas. Yeah,
I'm not surprised
training.
at all. Yeah, I mean his range is insane. His
it's incredible.
his volume and everything. Yeah, impressive.
Amazing
singer.
band, and it's too bad they're not still doing stuff. But
well, they have
those albums.
Operation Live Crime or something like that on YouTube, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And they play the
tour.
whole show.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like I think the show is in Milwaukee or something. So it's worth checking out.
When they do the duet, she comes out live and sings it with him.
Yeah, she's
really
all in white.
cool, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a great album. So, yeah, check it out.
Yeah, it's like government assassins of the church or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big conspiracy. Yeah, it's like a big story. It's really cool. I'd say check it out. It's a great. If you like concept albums, that's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. So that was fun.
That was cool. I like that little.
Yeah, man.
That little
Thanks.
the interlude.
Appreciate
I've been
it.
thinking of new
kinda-
things to do with my channel as well, or I guess you know, with Chris as well, because he's always hanging out. So
Well, music's a big part. I mean, we love music. Murph and I both love it.
Yeah.
And so that's just one way to kind of infuse that with what we do.
And no one else
and-
really does it on
No,
the other
they don't.
like independent comic channels.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to get into just reviewing the books that I have. So,
Yeah,
like,
we need to do
me and
that
my
too.
son
Yeah, you
reviewed
should.
your guys' book.
I know that was
and,
awesome.
I loved it.
It
it.
was a blast. We had a good time too. My son really had a good time, like talking about it too. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you guys were like, it was cool hearing what a kid had to say. So
Yes.
I don't know. I thought it was neat, and I want to do some more of it. So I have a new
You should do
setup,
it.
as people can see with the purple and stuff.
Beaver.
I'm slowly building up my studio, right? And
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And anyways, I also have a desk cam now. So
nice.
now I can I'm gonna just look at books, not just indie books, but maybe some other books that I have as well, and just talk about them. Because Joe Sontag does that. It's like
Yes.
appreciating comic book art.
Yep.
I like that show. I watch it every now and again,
It's a
and
good show.
it's super fun. Just kind of like appreciating stuff with somebody else that appreciates it. You know.
Yes. And, one thing I heard recently was that, like from Jeremy Ice and Fire, have you guys been following him at all? Used to be
No,
Lord,
I don't.
Lord
But I know of
Crackhead.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord
He
Crackhead.
was putting out there that he thinks a lot of people want to hear more about comic books lately. And so I think the reviews are sorely needed. I think
Yeah.
us talking about the creation of comics and the stories that we're trying to write and the characters we're trying to put in there, we need to do stuff on that content. There's just not enough of it.
God.
And
Imagine the drama going into like all of the shit that we've had to deal with making these books.
Well,
But
we have different perspectives, right?
Yes,
It's like,
yes.
you know, from writer perspective and, you know, artist perspective and just, you know, just being individual creators, it's pretty cool.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
one thing Murph and I were doing, you know, we meet on StreamYard. That's how we meet and get everything going.
We
and,
used to
you
do
know,
more
just
up
figure
at
stuff out.
Derek's actual house, but
Yeah.
StreamYard's easier.
Yeah.
But when I conceptualize a character, I'll throw it up onto Clip Studio and share that with Murph, and then I can draw in real time with him,
Yeah.
and we just discuss, you know, if I'm drawing something, he'll be like, well, make this bigger or do this different, or that's not the kind of armor I wanted him to have, or something like that. And then we can, it's really a good way to work. I mean, it takes a while, but, you know, you're creating something from nothing, you know? And I would like to talk about that more. I would even like to show it sometime. I think that'd be fun to do live.
Hell yeah.
Just for
It
the hell
sucks
of it.
though, is I can't verbally abuse you as much. I'm like, Derek, what the shit is this?
I mean, there's only a few words you can't say on YouTube, so just stay away from those words.
Oh, that's
What is
not even funny. Mo. Damn, Mo. Damn.
Creamed corn.
Corn.
Despaired.
Oh,
Yikes.
man.
Oh,
Really salty.
man.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Why did you taste it?
Damn.
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 I don't even know what to say after that.
Yeah.
Did you
Cold
guys see our
cream
cool
corn.
banner that we have? Did you see
Hell
this
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, dude. What
How cool
is that?
this?
Vinyl or?
Yes, this is banner paper. Like this.
So
is
do you
thick.
guys do cons? Do you do?
We're doing
We're going
a con
to do
this
one
weekend.
this week. Yeah,
Nice.
Saturday.
Oh, very cool.
Dude,
In my
record.
hometown.
Yeah,
Oh, I
you
didn't
should
think of that. We
definitely
could
do a
do
show
that.
from there if you can.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
only 4 hours, so I don't know if we'll have time. But it's a short
I mean, we
con.
could post
It's a mini con. But
It's at a
man,
library,
we-
so there's going to be kids there,
Yeah.
so we won't
Oh, nice.
read
I
anything
see.
Mo says.
Well, and the truth is, it's. I think it's a limited time, so I don't know if we'll be able to. But we went there
Yeah,
a few
you'll just
years
be
ago.
sitting there talking. Yeah.
We went a
Yeah,
few
just a
years
little-
ago, had a lot of success, but we didn't have our book done at the time. So now we have the book done. We have extra copies. We have some posters
Yeah.
to go with.
Yeah.
See,
I wanna
that's
talk
what
about
I'm
this.
excited for. I'm looking forward to going to cons now that like
Yeah.
I'm about to have a physical book. You know, great. I can't wait to get fulfillment. I got a
Yeah.
couple of secret things that Chris doesn't even know about that I'm going to try to pull off. So
Nice.
like, yeah, and then like I'll have an actual book that I can take and you know sell at a convention. That'll be so
Heck
fun.
yeah, man! It feels
I
so
can hang
good
out
to
with
be
my
able
kids. You know, they'll love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got this bagged and boarded and ready to go. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I got some posters made today. I just got these prints. Look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
very
that's
nice.
that's of the
That's very
wraparound
cool.
cover. So we're gonna
Yes.
sell these
I want to
posters.
do that. I want to
it's-
do that.
You know, it's on poster paper. Well, we have a nice print shop here local of this,
At a
this
library.
old couple,
Oh damn.
and they
Oh,
are
okay.
really cool. No, this is
No.
not the library.
Yeah, the library was for the poster behind you.
The
but
library made the banner, and dude, they have this machine, and it just was like swipe, 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 swipe out on that paper, and it was done like that, and it was high quality. The color on it is amazing, and then
Yeah.
I even could put the eyelets in it, you know. So
Oh,
it could
nice.
hang.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy with this.
Yeah.
It
that
looks
turned out
solid
awesome.
from here.
And then we made bigger posters, you know, for Murph and I, just for us. But like really big posters of the covers of the book, and for very cheap. And I got to say, I'm going to use that library over and over again because it's a great
Yeah.
resource.
Hell
So
yeah.
I'm glad we stumbled
Cool.
on it. So
But
yeah, we
not
got
for
some good
reading, 'cause
stuff
you
coming
can't
down the
read.
pike.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't wait.
I don't want to go there to read.
that's the big
I
thing
draw.
between. That's the
Like-
big difference between artists and writers. One
Yeah,
of them don't
I
read.
draw.
So out of left field. He's
F
like, well,
reading.
yeah, but you can't. Your ass can't read.
Right.
It's like a burn you never hear. That's hilarious.
Oh, you got
And I
it
made
done,
this
man.
there too.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Nice.
this is done, but actually the tiger's going to change. We're going to change the head of the cat a
Oh,
little bit, but it's pretty much done.
Cool.
Very cool.
So, yeah, this came out great. No, we got some good stuff going, I think.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think so
Yeah,
too. I
can-
really like the aesthetic that you guys have, where it's like super primitive and a Diluvian. I don't think anybody's really doing that too much, because you could do any like giant
Yeah.
cats. Like nobody's
Yes.
doing giant cats. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool.
Exactly. Well, I think fantasy animals always have had a big part.
I
in
didn't
it,
see
too.
that. What did Mo say?
He
Sorry.
said, well, it says Corn Con, and then we'll go back to that one. Murph will be wearing his all shucks shirt. That's perfect. That's awesome. Do Aaron and Chris
Damn
have
you,
books?
Mo.
They didn't get to mention any. So
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes
Yeah.
they do.
Oh yeah.
We
Go
didn't
ahead, guys.
promote any of your guys' stuff.
Oh,
Well, we will.
I'm here
I
to
was
hang
going
out,
to give them
so it's all
plenty
good.
of time to do that.
yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
It's all good.
Dirk's
Yeah.
commissioned Queensryche to write and
Dude.
perform Pallor Ballad of the Celestials. I'd ship
Mo, if
Yes.
we could,
that happened.
if we could, that would be awesome.
Not Queensryche, but just Jeff Tate. How about that?
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
actually you commission Jeff Tate
Dude.
and then separately commission the guitarist of
Yes.
Queensryche. So they don't know
That's
they're working
hilarious.
together, and then it works
That's
out great.
I would
That's
shit
awesome.
myself. Actually, I mean, really though, that'd be awesome.
Right?
Too good. No, I'm glad you mentioned that though, because the aesthetic that we have, I do think, is a little more unique than some others. You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna go play off the beasts, and we're gonna go in, but this is just the beginning of it. So we're gonna start getting deeper into some mythological things as we go along.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I like
That'll
that
be
beast
fun.
aspect. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be characters
Yeah.
like themselves. Like they're not going to talk, but they're going to have like personalities. You know.
Well, like your first one opened up
Action.
with that one monster, you know, chasing
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
that one monster
Rhino
and killing
thing.
him.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was pretty
the
cool.
unicorn.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was funny. I think I posted like the historical like on Twitter. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, this looks familiar, guys.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
was
right. You
awesome.
did. I remember that too. That's funny.
That's cool. Yeah, and then we're just going to keep going with stuff like that. I mean, we have more beasts coming down the pike. Issue 2 is going to have some beasts in the very
Some
beginning.
arena stuff. So,
Yeah.
and we'll
gonna be
have
fun.
some babes in there for Corey Barton. He's been asking.
Oh, you said
There'll be
babes.
some
He'll be in the
arena
chat.
babes.
Oh
Yeah, he's
shit!
gonna
You
appear
mentioned
anytime
babes.
now.
Yeah.
I said babes, babes.
That's
It's
awesome.
showtime.
Yeah.
If he pops in right now,
Dude,
that
it's
would be
oh, man.
hilarious.
It's over. It's over at that point.
That's awesome. Yeah,
But,
man.
you know,
that's
like
too
how
fun.
boxing has those babes, we'll have arena babes going around
Yeah.
holding signs.
No,
So
yeah.
you guys excited about your convention then?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it was
What
fun,
all
and
are
we
you-
didn't have
Awesome.
anything to sell last time.
What all are you taking? The book
Books
or
and posters.
posters?
We'll have books, posters. I have some prints like this
like prints.
Batman Who Laughs.
That he
Yeah.
sell Derek's art.
So that's my
Oh,
art,
nice.
you know. And then what else? We have some postcards that I made with Mare, the main
Bookmarks.
character.
Little things.
I'll probably
here and there.
I'll probably take some sketch cards if somebody wants to get a sketch card. I'll do some of those.
Dude, I thought that was Corey Barton that just logged in. Hail George Jefferson. Not that I'm disappointed that you're not Corey Barton. It's just it was been hilarious.
But the dude is like
Good intro.
magical. Yeah.
Even on the bottom left looks like
Hilarious.
my uncle. My mom doesn't bring to family parties. Oh man,
Oh,
dang.
Oh, man.
Wait, is my camera on? I thought
Yeah,
my camera was
yeah.
off.
I think he's talking about me. I don't know.
Oh man.
Sheesh.
Oh.
Have any of you guys met George?
No.
No, he's brand new. Wow, we're getting some
Yeah.
different people in here then.
Hey,
Interesting.
hey, Immortal, why don't you shit on the show that he was on? I can't remember what the show was called.
don't know.
Yeah, well, he got me better.
Moving
Aaron.
on up.
Look, top left looks like Pawn Stars low budget.
Damn.
Well, we'll have
welcome anyway, George.
We're happy to have you, George.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Keep throwing those darts.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to talk about your books, you're more than welcome.
Yeah,
we got
yeah.
plenty of time.
Well,
go
I mean,
for it.
actually, I don't know. So, all right. So my stuff. I'll start first to interject real quick. All right. The first book is it's at the printer or will be soon. We did all the original proof, and now I'm taking the new files back and all that stuff. But also I have other things going on. Like for instance, I'm in Out of Obscurity, which is an Arrow Comics book. It's an anthology with me and I think it's 8 of us total. So it's me and 7 other teams of writers and artists doing different stories about public domain characters.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's other names that you'd know, like Hojo, I think Fowler, Luke Stone. There's a
George.
bunch of people, a bunch of teams in it. So a bunch of different artists. Jose, again, me and Jose do a
Can
story
you guys
in
hear
that
me
one.
okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was weird.
Okay,
So-
are we going out? Because there's some roboting going on.
No,
What do
everything's
you
fine
mean,
here.
robot? There's no
Um,
robots.
Just me
Okay, then it
droning
must
on.
be on because I was hearing roboting. So I want to
Must
make
be
sure
my
you guys
end
could
and it
hear me
goes-
okay.
You just
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
kicked for a second, so it's on
Yeah.
your end.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
Okay. Now I'm
You
back
were
in.
buffering. Yeah,
Sorry
you
about
buffered
that.
for a second. Oh, you're all good. And then
Okay.
the other thing I have selling right now, or I think it's in pre-sale now, is
Wait, who
Anvil
watched
magazine,
Disney without dark glasses? Sorry.
Anvil magazine #2. So from Iron Age Media. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I highly suggest if you guys can get something into Anvil magazine. I really suggest get anything you can in there, art or an ad, something. So, because
Okay.
they're really cool dudes, and
Yeah.
not only that, but people are backing it. Like people want to get into the Iron Age, and
Okay.
your stuff isn't woke, so
No, not at all.
it'll be welcomed for sure.
Is it easy to get with them? Like, are they pretty good? How's your working relationship with them?
Really good. They've been on my show multiple times. I've been on their show. They also, one of them has, who's at Drink with Crazy has his own Gilded server, so you can get in there, and that's a huge crowd, Iron Age crowd. So
Cool.
a bunch of fantasy people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all about networking and community, so might as well get out there and do what you can,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, thanks, Felix.
What if he? Oh yeah,
Hey,
Felix been
the
putting
Link
stuff
Master.
out there. No, he really
for
is.
sure.
Yeah, it's always great when Felix is here. And yeah, I kind of felt bad that we weren't, talking more about your guys' stuff. So
No,
could do-
no, not at all. We were
I-
here.
I think-
We were here to shill, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
do
was
you-
just
if-
gonna hang out, but I'll be happy to show.
yeah, buy my
So
buy my stuff.
kind of going back to the fantasy thing,
Mm-hmm.
was there stuff that you felt like you needed to have in your book? Now I know it's it's our stuff, so it's stuff we love. But was there ever anything that you felt like, this might not be great but it's something I need to have in it for fantasy? Or no? Did you not feel compelled to do something?
Yeah. I'm sorry to jump in first, but
No,
like,
go for it.
that's fine.
for me, I had fucking terrible parents growing up, so there was no filter on what was considered age appropriate.
Oh, okay.
And when I wrote the Infinitale Chronicles back in the early '90s, I was a teenager, really, young kid or whatever, and I look at it and I look at
Welcome
the stuff
back.
that's in it, and it would not pass for family friendly or for what would be considered the age group of the people who wrote it appropriate.
Yeah.
And it's weird because again, I've just been desensitized to it. So there's always that tonal worry that I have that like there gets to be some pretty dark shit in my book, and at the same time, it's like this is written by teenagers. Like, dude, we were in the kids' library. We were in the Pelham Public Library playing this damn game, and yeah, like it was fine back then, but we've mollycoddled kids today to the point where like what's considered PG-13 or whatever is now considered like M-rated or
so
yeah. And I worry that because I didn't want to like there's violence, there's like pretty strong subject matter, and I didn't want to censor it to make it saccharine enough for that family market. You know what I mean? Like I could make a censored version of the book that's kid friendly, but at the same time, like it might detract from the, because I mean it's a pretty scary story. I mean it's about, you know, basically an authoritarian force telling you to kill your kids. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty freaking scary.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can have dark themes in children's stories,
Definitely.
but it's not written for children, right? Like, same with me, you know, like my stuff's not, you know, it's teenager, you know, it's mature teenager plus, so kind of way I look at it.
I think we go for the PG-13, like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean, if it would make that.
I don't do a lot
violence,
of gore or nothing, but there's blood and there's violence. I don't cuss really. Like I don't really find a reason to cuss, and yeah, I mean that's about it. And no, not like nudity. Maybe some, you know, good-looking characters, but you know, I don't want to sell my book with nudity. So
yeah, that was also another thing, because there was nudity, but like I think that was the one thing where I was kind of okay with compromising, in the sense that like I didn't want to be lumped in with like the cheesecake, like look at the tits and ass stuff, but so I just did strategic hair covering and stuff. Like if it's okay, after Aaron tells you everything about Immortal Rising and the Iron Age 2 story he's got in, or I should say the story he's got in the Iron Age 2 thing, I'd like to show off some art to show you guys.
Oh no, you're fine. Go for it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's check it out. I've been waiting to see this. I'm waiting to buy it. So.
Hell, that's great.
All right, so if you full screen me or embiggen me, I got my desktop up.
Enoch Chunk.
Yeah.
Don't say embiggen with Mo in the chat.
Embiggen. Yeah.
It's a perfectly cromulent word.
Hang on a minute.
So
Did he kick us?
Oh, it won't do it now.
No, I'm here.
No, okay, you didn't kick us. Okay.
So I
Murph,
got
can
the
you do it?
first.
Try it.
What's up?
I don't have any controls, Derek.
Yeah, you guys are sharing.
I thought you
his
were
screen.
logged in. I thought you had you.
No, but Chris has all of Chris' stuff is on there, so there's no problem.
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, this was a promotional piece I did. It's a 2-page spread, full bleed.
Who's the art? Who did the art on that?
Yeah, so this is done by, actually it was a collaborative effort between Kev Hulk, Kevin Sharp, you can find him on Twitter or X. Yeah. And Steve Cannon Art did the colors. And this is part of what is kind of described in the opening chapter of the second book. It's a flashback.
Dirk, can you remove Chris's name so we can see the art without anything in front of it? Dirk?
Hello?
I guess he's not there.
You guys hear me?
Hello?
Yeah. Derek, can you remove his name?
Can you guys hear me at all?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Hear me.
Hello?
Is there anyone home?
You go, Guaylo.
Oh, man. So I think Dirk's having problems. So I'm sorry, Chris. I wanted to get your name off there to see the art.
Well, I
fully,
could
but
do
it's
this.
fine.
Let's see. Edit name and headline. I could just go.
You just delete it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put like a letter. Or...
Oh.
Hey, I'm back. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I was talking, and I couldn't talk to you guys, so there's problems.
I know, it was
I'm having
annoying.
internet problems for some reason.
So
are we still soloing you, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the request was to remove my my name here. I got a Q and a 1 here.
Yeah. That's good though. It doesn't go over any of the art, so.
Sweet. So yeah, so this is a double page spread that we'll have in the next book. It's also a promotional image here, done by Kev Hulk for the inks and the pencils, and then Steve Cannon art for the coloring. And it represents what's up.
Oh, I was gonna say, what project did Kavalk did? He did a fantasy story too, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He did. Let me see if I can find it, because he's a great artist.
Did that fulfill and all that? Because that art on that looked great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it fulfilled at the moment. Let's see. It's I don't wanna. I want to give my artists due. So.
Yeah, I didn't mean to like try to, dig up anything on the dude. I just like I remember hearing it and seeing him around, but I didn't know if it ever actually fulfilled. So I guess not. Yikes.
No. Let's see. It's not Dragon Raid. Oh, the Dragon Guard.
Dragon Guard. Yeah.
It's on
it
Indiegogo right now.
Looked like He-Man and stuff like that.
Yeah, Thundercats. Yeah.
Thundercats. Yeah, that looks so good.
Yeah, you can see his style bleeding through with the designs of the characters here. You have your blood splattered battle queen here, Ashlyn, and then a couple other people fighting these weird Carnutes or fawns, satyrs essentially.
Whoa!
And on the website, there's actually the first 15 pages are free for a trial. You can actually read basically the first chapter of the book for both the first book and the second book, just to give you a nice little taste of what's inside. And there's a flashback talking about how, basically there's these elves, these pretty people with problems, basically massacred these animals. And as you can see in this representation, it's clearly told from the side of the pretty people with problems, because these things are all like demonic looking and monstrous, when in actuality they're really not. So it's kind of a propagandized representation of what actually happened.
Well, you're doing 2 of them, right?
Oh yeah.
From different perspectives?
No. So
okay.
The only thing what we're doing is we're actually this is kind of my experiment.
Yeah.
Based off of feedback that we got from the first book, we're actually having 2 art teams make 2 separate books of the same story. So what
cool.
you're seeing here is the first team, the ones that worked on book 1, Hycon Media, where we have Antonio Brandeo, Elzer Alves, and then Zen basically doing the lettering and editing. And I'm using some promotional images here, like we've got a piece here, for a scene from the book 2.
I like it.
Not to spoil too much, but it was done by Vinny Tartamella. And it's a really cool piece for one of the pivotal scenes in the next book. And we also have a second team doing the same book. So there's 2 different books. See, there's even a different cover. And it's done by Studio Barbusco, or Barbusco Studios. And I'll be doing the lettering on it. But Eduardo Barbosa will be doing the paneling and the pencils and the inks. And then his wife, Michaela Fusco, will be doing the colors. And and we got a nice piece here by Frost Lamson here, who did the piece. Again, these are all promotional images.
Who did that?
But it's Frost Lamson. I apologize if I mispronounced Frost's last name.
I don't know the name, so.
Yeah, he's a great artist. I found him on Twitter.
Yeah, that's real nice.
And then nice. Here's to just show you kind of an example. So here is the double page spread for chapter 2's opening. This is done by team 1, or Hycon Media, with Antonio and Alzir doing the inks and colors respectively. So here we have this nice landscape shot. It's early morning. Dude's carving away at something, and blah blah blah. Little chat thing. So here's that same exact scene from the Barbusco team.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So we're getting a different artistic kind of interpretation of it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And carving away and talking. And
so why did you decide to do that? That's very unique.
Yeah, so we were getting feedback about our art and our story and stuff when I sent out surveys during the during release. It was basically
that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, you can't. As a UX designer, that's what I do in my day job. User experience, UI design. I basically advocate for the dumbest guy in the room, and it's usually me. One thing I've learned is that you can't treasure what you don't measure. If you don't have heuristics, if you don't have, dude, it's a mantra. It's a definite must. When you're releasing a product out there, you need to make sure that what you're providing, like, why didn't it sell? Or what did people like? What did people not like? Therefore, you can, invest your resources accordingly.
I can just see Murph measuring cobs of corn.
Oh God. All right,
Derek,
treasure
can we
what
keep
you
it
measure, Murph.
PG-13? Can we keep
Treasure
it
what you
PG-13?
measure, Murph.
Yeah, where'd you pick that up? Was that your rhetoric or is that somebody else?
Yeah, I've
What,
never heard that.
Treasure
What, the
measure.
Treasure what you measure.
I think I actually got that from one of the books that I read on user experience designing. But
Nice.
yeah, it's
good. It's good rhetoric.
What I currently have here on the screen is a piece done by Luca Brico, who, again, another amazing artist. Love this guy's work.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And again, this is a scene from the first 15 pages of the preview of book 2. We see Deirdre here with a little weird baby.
The baby.
Going off with their Yale pulled wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other kind of cool pieces that we have for promotional stuff. So what we're doing is, what I'm about to show you is stuff that we're adding in for our perks. We're actually doing something a little different. Instead of it just being like prints, we're actually doing figurines with so for example here, before I get to that work, so we're printing out little playable figurines here.
Oh, that's awesome.
So these are our heroes for set 1. Ashlyn, Kaylin, Darwin, Galinar, and Nessa.
I love that.
And as you can see, they're kind of based off of their paintings, more or less. But they're going to be fully functional for the Infinitel Fantasy role-playing game system. So essentially, they'll be getting kind of an abridged version of this, which is the inspiration for Infinitel Chronicles. So the entire comic series is based off of the play sessions of that from over 30 years ago. But what we're doing with these are the character cards. These are 5x7 or 5x9 cards, and on the back there's like a character sheet with the character stats, and it's fully playable. You get the abilities and the weapons and the equipment cards as well.
Very nice.
And it'll be fully playable. So what we're seeing here is a piece done by Misha Art, again another talented artist on Twitter, and she's basically she did the character card for a character called Aoife, who is again represented in the second book. You don't really see much of her in the first book. And here is one of our main heroes, Kalen. Although he looks a little different now. He's got like this freaking book with stuff coming out. His arm is all messed up. There's this weird veiny shit creeping up him. And it's actually Kalen Blackhand, and it's done by Vanette Cosman. And this will be his character sheet card or representation. And you'll get to see, get to hear the story of how this happens and how all that unfolds. And again, Vinny Tardamella did a great piece on that scene as well. And then another character card. This is I joke, I call it Sephiroth, but it's actually a character called Darwin, who let's just say that the good guys weren't always the good guys. So he's done some evil shit in his past. And then we got our wise old wizard Goatman, who was met in the first book, and he's the leader of this tribe.
Great. Who did that?
This is done by Catherine Steele. Again, another artist on Twitter. I definitely, if you guys are looking for some great art, she's definitely.
So how many artists have you used?
For real, man.
Quite a bit, man. Quite a bit. Let's see. I got a bunch more to show. So here's Dmitry Kotlov's representation.
Those colors.
Onan here, who's got like a crude scroll in his big ass club, and it's like, he looks like a villain. And then this one, I'm fairly certain it's safe to show because all the strategic bits are covered, so I'll do it quick. But this was done by Din Money here. Again, another scene from from book 2. So
Not
like I said,
work.
Exactly. Like there's nudity, but it's like I'm strategically covering it up. Like I don't want the tits and ass everywhere. The cheesecake.
Very
stuff.
sweaty. She just exercising?
No, she's actually just to show you.
She's wet, Murph.
So she's actually.
She's sopping wet.
These are some of the inks we got. As you can see, she's basically bathing her baby, or Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and
What?
yeah, so she's came out of the there's a better kind of came out of the
Yeah.
the baths.
Moist. Yeah.
Yeah, and again,
Moist.
yeah, and
That's awesome.
I don't think we have any for. Yeah, I don't think we got that far yet in on Burbusco yet, but
Still no
good shit.
Corey Barton. So,
yeah,
Nope.
no
Hey,
babes.
hey, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Whenever you're designing these characters, do you give them like a full description, or are you there helping design them, and then they just
Yeah, that's
go
a
and
good
flesh
question.
it out, or what do you do? How do you do it?
So, well, when I worked for Ubisoft and I did art direction for
Okay.
one of their Assassin's Creed stuff, and we
Yeah.
did a lot of outsourced art direction, which was basically send a bunch of pictures, give like a art reference material with
Okay.
as few words that the Chinese people had to translate as possible.
damn.
Okay.
And one of our early concepts done here by Zed Edge, an Australian artist, when we
Cool.
I worked with him when we were designing the characters for the
That's
game.
nice. I like that.
And yeah, like we worked through like so this is something I'm actually working on, but I want to show it before I go into too much detail. But I got an
Okay.
FDM printer and I'm printing out a life-size Wayrin, which is the
Oh, wow.
Elfin double dagger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the printer to print out a freaking double sword like this, but
Yeah.
yeah, just and these were kind of like notes that we put out for like a little size chart here, some details. Like this is basically what our comic artists were given in terms of like character design. So there is some
So-
level of
Okay. So you lay it out for them, and then they just take it and do their own kind of interpretation of it.
Guard.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I have faith that the artists have like you don't want to force an artist to do everything like this is my vision, it needs to be, because it's a collaborative
Micromanage.
process.
Exactly.
it's a-
That's so funny you say that, because I completely agree. That's how I feel with Jose. Not to try to derail, but yeah, that's exactly how I feel with Jose. It's like I don't
think it's
have to
great.
give him a lot of direction. I tell him the overall purpose of the page. I tell him per panel like the emotion of the characters within, or any actions or anything out of the ordinary that needs to be involved, anything that helps the story. Otherwise, it's up to him to frame it and
Sure.
and add a panel,
But he
take a
kind
panel
of-
out.
He went through and redesigned some of your characters too, though, right? Like he did a lot of like work on that.
I would say that he took the characters that were designed by another artist and,
And then-
put it
Okay.
in his style.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
like here was our Zed's original.
I like
drawing
the
of
armor.
Eva.
The armor's
I do
cool.
too. I like it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's laminated wood with some stuff called is it orichalcum, or it's basically like a bronzish like elfin metal.
Yeah.
So no,
okay.
I was gonna say. So there is some metal.
Yeah, iron, steel, any ferrous metal doesn't exist in this world because it's fairies and elves and
Oh.
shit, and
Okay.
it's kind of poisonous to them. Well, it actually has
Okay.
anti-magical
Whoa.
qualities, and silver will actually
Cool.
really mess them up. It gives them argent toxicity, which is a flaw in the game where basically if you're part of the Fey races and you get blood or drawn blood by argent toxicity, it doesn't heal naturally. You have to actually get it magically healed.
So then the best
Wow.
way to win that game would be to teleport your characters to New York City, and they'd all just
Yeah. There's I mean, it's funny because there's a lot of give and take. In fact,
What are their buildings made out of then? Is it mostly wood and?
um,
Well, I guess rocks are fine for them, right? Just not
Yeah.
silver or metals.
yeah, there's
So it's
yeah,
stone
I mean, there's
and
stuccos and yeah, like
Yeah.
here's the actual game races.
Alchemy too, right?
Really?
Like, probably.
Ooh.
some
Oh, yeah.
alchemy.
Yeah, and they can like mold earth or plants or essentially. So instead of the
Cool.
way that we have to chop stuff up, they can actually literally have a tree open itself up, and you can create a holt in there or like a
All
place.
right.
Oh,
What
that's cool.
about
I like
your
that.
magic system? Since we're talking about it, what's your because I talked earlier about how Harry
Yeah,
Potter
you did.
was like anything you want, and then like
Yep.
what is it? Lord of the Rings is like I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure
Do
you
you
guys
re-
have seen.
You really
videos
want me
where
to
they
geek
talk
out
about-
on the magic system? because
so you do have an established magic.
Yeah, like what's your
Yes.
parameters? What's
So-
the boundaries?
Yeah.
so magic is actually when we were developing the game is
Yeah,
one
hard
of the things
magic,
that
soft
really
magic.
one of
Sorry.
the things that really bothered me about Dungeons and Dragons was how pervasive magic was, and
Yeah.
it just became a
Okay.
technology where you had like a +1 toothbrush of cavity fighting,
Really?
and like
That's,
was-
yeah,
it was
that's a good
so-
way to say
That's
it,
awesome.
yeah, it was so ubiquitous, and there was very rarely any consequences of meddling with this.
Yeah.
But the magic system in this world, and you actually learn more. Like the whole point of the Infinite Tale Chronicles is that it's introducing you. It's almost like a primer into the history of like the founding of magic and all this other
Later
stuff.
on, Mo.
And
Peace, Mo.
have a good one, man.
Nice. See ya, Mo. Thanks for saying goodbye.
This time, yeah, I was going to say that. This time he said goodbye.
That is awesome.
Take it easy, man.
So magic is broken down into two concepts: cantrips and elements, and it's basically based on a stanza structure. Of you're actually doing multiple things when you're casting magic. You're plunging your hands into the clay of creation, and molding it to your own. Like you're basically sticking your hands into chaos and trying to shape it through your own force of will. And that's not always a very safe thing to do, and you'll actually learn more about like why he's got a big black hand. But
Whoa.
what we're seeing here is
Oh, you said hand.
Yeah.
Does that mean does that mean that
Well, you didn't say corn cob.
Oh.
Shit.
So
Yep,
so
there we
the
are.
way that the
Oh man, that's awesome.
There's
way that
always a
magic-
price. There's always a price.
well, the way that the magic system works is that it generally its anchor is the elements essentially, and every
Okay.
element has 3 sub-elements. So, for example,
Cool.
if you wanted to be an aeromancer, your 3 sub-elements are aeromancy, anemomancy, and astrapomancy, which is basically lightning and energy, or wind, or the element of air. And then same thing with pyromancy. You've got fire, you've got light, and you've got heat. And each one of these, you can break them down even further. So, a geomancer is you've got like dirt and sand essentially, metal or stone. Your water has water, ice, or vapors. You can go into the element of the mind, so psychomancy, memnomancy, skepsomancy, or into the body. So you have like manipulations of like the body, bones, blood, phytomancy, which is plants, zoomancy, which is animals, illusomancy, which is like illusion, so sound, and
Damn, there's a lot.
yeah,
that's a lot.
and all of these things are combined into sentences. So like these are your magic. So it's like, okay, I want to be a purple wizard essentially, or I want to be a green wizard, or I want to, So let's just say for the sake of simplicity here, we'll go with pyromancy. So I want to be a pyromancer. I want to be a red cloak. You're now a red magus essentially. Well, you get your skill of pyromancy as your card, and there's these 3 sub skills that you can fill skill points into as you level up. And each point that you invest into those skills gives you spells essentially. And a spell card has to be cast exactly as it's written. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Well, every one of these, as you can see underneath the yellow text, there's white text here. And it's in 2 different languages, the language of Andhravari and the language of Slerith. And basically, depending on what kind of magic you use, the symbols are the same, but the language is different. And you will see these symbols in a constructed sentence called a stanza, essentially. So
Nice. That's
you're
cool.
basically taking these components, and you're almost like you're programming a language. It's very rudimentary. It's almost like a gambit system from an old Final Fantasy game. But like, you're basically
I know what you're talking about.
So you have these manipulation cantrips that can affect your elements. So, for example, I have the creation cantrip here. So Creo, or in Andhravari Creo, or Anithster and Slerith. So I would see this, but then it would say Creo and then Ignis, which is fire. So I create fire, and then it would say I don't know. I think there's one called like where's it? X. or I think there's from X. So creo ignis X. I've now just created fire from, and then I think it would be this target, and I would either use a prop to create the fire from it, something flammable, or I could use it from my own mana reserves, my own magic points, essentially. So I've just created fire. That would be like stanza 1, and then stanza 2 would be, well, what am I going to do with the fire? Well, I could, let's see, I could project. So Yakulo ignis. So I project fire, and then I think there's an at. So add, and then locum, this target, and then I would select a target on the board, and that would be my second stanza. So I'd have a 2-stanza spell that I'd have already written out for me, and I would have to follow this exactly as I would be laying out these runes accordingly as the spell that I'm casting. And if I fuck it up, now I have to roll on a botch table to see if I fuck the spell up. Well, I did fuck the spell up on that second stanza, where I said instead of projecting fire, I projected my hands. So I just tore my hands off and threw them at the target.
Oh gosh.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a whole botch table system that you get rolled and all that stuff. But the idea is that Magic is something you don't really want to screw around with. It's not a technology. It's not this fun.
I have a question, because the one of them you have is control.
Mm-hmm.
If you have control, why would you need anything else? You know what I mean? Like with control, couldn't you destroy because you just have the control?
But you can't
know
create.
What I mean?
Well,
if you,
control
like, so,
is more of a regulation or a rego. It's I'm moving it. I think move would probably be a more correct term, but there was no.
So
Latin
why
word
would you
for
need?
move.
Why would you need move and target if you could just move to the target? You know what I mean?
Well, because you need to say I'm moving this to this.
Okay,
just
so
like
a
in a programming
target would be
language.
quicker than what a control would be.
Yeah, code.
Yeah, is that the
It's
difference?
like programming
or no?
code.
Yeah,
I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's all like, so you're moving it, but where are you moving it to? Like, you got to play the make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich game. Like, that was actually where we got the idea. We actually went to the Museum of Science, and they had they had the Android.
I
and
know
told
that
them to
game.
make a, yeah, and that was where it was like, holy shit, like, because we needed to make something that was like,
yeah, it's
less,
very complex.
Well,
Yeah.
we needed
Well,
something,
it's more
it
complex
doesn't-
than you think it is.
Exactly.
But here's the
Yeah,
thing
well,
is-
looking at it all, yeah, it looks like
yeah,
that, but-
well, here's the thing. It's not all revealed to you all at once. So
Yeah.
I'm giving you the worst case scenario. I'm showing you every piece out on the board.
Right.
Yeah,
It's actually
yeah.
considerably less. It's like you're only shown what you need at a lower level.
Yeah,
you
and then
start
builds
gaining more
over
and more.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you when you're at that high level, yeah, you're damn right it's complex. But the shit that you can do at that high level is literally shape worlds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
it gives
That's
you
cool.
that gradual progression or gradual revelation into the magic system. And it's, a lot of it, like I did some studies on Hermetic lore, ancient Jewish magic
Yeah.
stuff. And like, I was like, yeah, that would, like
Greek.
if you notice, Andravari, the language of Andravari is very similar to our world's Latin. And Slithirth is very similar to our world's Hebrew. So,
Okay.
and the reason why there's two languages is because the game takes place in a world after the Infinitale Chronicles, because I don't want to tell stories for the players. That's their story. Like the game is
yeah.
That's
You're
nice.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
so with that said, all of the events that are in the Infinitale Chronicles, there's two kind of book series. The first one is called The War of the Trees, and it explores kind of the origins of the elfin people and how they discovered magic and tried to liberate themselves from these oppressive gods. And then the second is called The Empires of Ruin, which is basically, well, what happened to those elves and how come they came in, like, what was their stories after they came into a mundane world, like a medieval world similar to ours that didn't have magic. Like they became the scary, the fairy tales, the horrible, I don't know, basically they brought magic into a non-magical world and it fucked it up. And as a result,
That's awesome.
There was this massive cataclysm, this event called the Great. Was it the? I think it was it's some type of convergence, the Great Convergence or whatever, where they basically tried to merge these two worlds together, and it caused basically a nuclear holocaust of magic.
Yeah, it never
And
works.
well, they were able to contain the magic, but
Yeah.
they said in order for this to never happen again, we need to codify magic so that we're never going to get rid of it. It's kind of like guns. We can't make laws to get rid of guns because only law-abiding people would stop using them. But we can regulate them. We could say, if you're going to use a gun, here's what you need to do to use it. And that's essentially what this mundane order called, the Order of Nemesis, or the Order of these enemies, got together and said, we may hate each other, but we understand there's a mutually assured destruction if we don't play nice. So we've created these covenants of magi who have regulated all of the magic and codified it and said, this is the magic that you can use as a practitioner, but you're not to do this within politics. You forsake any birthright you have, all this stuff. Go outside of our civilizations and practice your weird, scary shit. Just don't bring it in on us. And that's where the Andravari language came from.
Assault wands are prohibited then.
Some aren't, but like basically what.
But there are wands that are considered illegal because of what they can do.
Well, the funny thing about
the Constitution,
wands,
Murph.
so Patronus. No, but so when you have magic that's regulated, it's done through the order. You've learned it through the scholar's speech called Andravari. So you're speaking basically Latin. But if you want to do the rogue shit, the stuff that's unsanctioned, the stuff that the elves originally founded and blew up their messed up their world with, then you're
Sounds
going
like the guys I hang around.
then you're going to use the Slitherith stuff. The only problem though is because there's this this ostensibly allied covenants that have all become, this order that says everybody has to follow these rules. We're not part of any government anymore. We've forsaken our kingdoms and whatever. We are the order. Anybody that strays outside of their codified magic laws are subject to basically something called the Magi's March, which is basically all the covenants now mark this person for death. And one of the infractions is if you start using shit that isn't sanctioned magic. So if you can be that rogue ass dude that wants to, hey man, I found some ancient books that are written in Slitherith and I'm getting some badass spells. Yeah, don't do that in front of other order magi. You get caught with that and suddenly you're subject to they have the Venator, which is basically a witch hunter. Essentially the order dispatches these guys to come and fucking kill you.
Oh shit!
So you're like, I better play nice, and you can try to petition the tribunal and try to like basically politicize and try to pay your way out and be like, don't kill me. Sometimes there's other infraction, or there's things where you can get other sentences, like you might be subjected to losing the ability to cast spells. They can actually call something called the Magi's Twilight, where they actually pull all of the knowledge out of you from all of your magic. So you're like a husk of a person, but you're not dead. So like, and there was actually a character who started the game as a post Magi's Twilight elf. So he's this emaciated guy who's like he became a knight. Awesome. He wears armor. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. But so that's why when we were building our magic system, which I mean, in a sense, you can see it's kind of one of the linchpins of the Infinitale story. Yeah. Is we wanted to make it so that it wasn't this like super dumb, like I can do anything I want, I can keep ramping this shit up.
I hate that. Yeah, I hate that. That is the thing I hate about Harry Potter. No consequences, just do whatever you want.
Well, if you notice here in the playable elves, they don't
They're all
look anything.
Just plot devices at that point.
yeah, exactly. It's like the magical
spells become meaningless just because they're plot devices. Yep. That's all they are.
Yeah. So as you can see here, with the playable elves, like they don't look like the elves from where is it from? I guess I could. They don't look like the playable elves here, like at all. Like what's going on here? Why do these guys look like this? And then it's like we got this weird shit over here where they're like, we've got the Seelie, the Unseelie, the Aishi, the Azrai. And then these elves, what the hell is that? Like, what the hell happened here? But yeah, so this is a consequence of something that you learn later on in a later story. And it's not really a spoiler because, again, the game world is taking place well into the future. We're not telling you how it happened. We're just saying it happened. But magic basically fragmented these people into something called the schism. and
Gotcha.
it basically obliterated.
This is the basis of your game, though, right? Like these
Yep.
characters here. Okay.
Yeah,
and then the
these are all the
story in
playable
your
races.
comic is like that's the prelude to
Yep.
the world of Infinitale.
Yep, that's a historical
Okay.
primer. In
Gotcha.
fact,
So
Alright.
are you hoping the comic will get more people into the game, or the game will get more people into the comic?
Yeah, good question.
it's interesting because like when I initially
both.
started,
Stop.
I-
Derek, of
I-
course, but I wanted to, shut
yeah,
up, Derek.
which one's in front? Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I initially
yeah.
started
When I let you
with
take
the,
over, stupidity prevails. I just don't know.
I initially
Dang.
started with the RPG. Like I was like, I started this back in the '90s. I was developing a pen and paper RPG.
Is that your
I got
work
bit
or
by
who
the-
did that?
I got bit by the I can do that too bug and realized how dumb I was
Uh-huh.
at creating this stuff. I learned a lot of lessons when I was in game development for about a decade. Learned a
No,
lot of,
I mean
made
the
a lot of
art.
mistakes. Oh, I'm
Who
sorry.
did
What
that
was,
art?
Yeah,
This
who
is
does
Zed
the art
Edge.
of these?
This is Zed Edge. Zed Edge did all of our
Zed.
concept art. He's an
Whoa.
Australian artist. You can find him on Twitter. Great guy.
Nice.
Those
Yeah.
barbarian
Love it.
boots are so Conan.
Good
Yeah.
find.
Yeah. So I initially
Yeah, he
started
wants
with
6
the.
seasons in a movie. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. But it's
so-
for
so-
Netflix, so all the
We all.
redheads are black. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's Queen Ashland now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But initially we started with the role playing game, and I had left the gaming industry, and I was like kind of creatively constipated because I was like, I had just
Whoa.
spent the last decade of my life doing
Yeah.
a job that was creative, and I moved out of that for something more stable that wasn't creative, and I was because of that I was able to actually start pursuing my hobbies again, and I was like, you know what, I want to make this game. And I was talking to one of my buddies who was actually working at Blizzard at the time, and he's like, you know why World of Warcraft was so goddamn successful out of the gate? Like, why there were people champing at the bit to play that damn game? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, maybe that's what you should do with yours, is that Warcraft already had an entire world created before players even jumped in. Like, they had Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, Warcraft Beyond the Dark Portal, all this stuff,
Yes.
Warcraft 3. So it's like they had all these other little games and stuff. They had all this other supplementary
Yeah.
material. So by the time they got to World of Warcraft, they're like, oh yeah, that's Elwyn Forest. I've been there, or I've seen, that's Stormwind Castle. I know where that is,
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to kind of do with this, but I didn't have the resources to make games. So I thought, well, should I write novels or whatever? And it's like, yeah, nobody's gonna like. We're at an age now where unless it's like a Pulitzer Prize winning, like you're rubbing elbows with Simon and Schuster or whatever, or one of the
I don't know,
Sure
Brandon
books.
Sanderson.
Yeah, if you've got the novel chops to do it, more power to you. But I don't.
Yeah.
So I wrote screenplays.
A
initially
novel
before-
isn't as fun. Like,
well.
you're
It's
right.
not as
Well, for
visually
me,
engaging.
all right. So
Yeah.
for me, I feel that sorry to interject, is like
Yeah.
a huge part of fantasy that got me into the fantasy to begin with was the art. Like
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
the books that
Definitely.
you look through, all the monster compendiums, the players' handbooks, and
Yeah.
the album covers.
Larry
all of
Elmore
it.
and Boris Vallejo,
Yes.
baby.
all of it. Yeah,
I agree with that.
the
Yes.
comic books clearly. So all of that art, and it's like, man, I would rather just take that fantasy and let's carry that tradition. That's one of the
Yeah.
things I
Yep.
was like, man, I really liked about Jose. It was such a unique art style,
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well,
Definitely.
but this is great because you're constructing just a giant world. This is a huge
Well,
game.
So I was like, okay, I could probably make a comic book or whatever, and I had absolutely I loved comic books as a kid. Like the thing is the books that I read were generally European. They weren't like your capes and tights books. Like I guess the closest I got to the hero
Like
stuff
what?
was the X-Men or the Crow. J.O. Barr's The Crow. Like that was that was like my Alice in Wonderland moment. Like I was like, this is this medium
He
is
also
amazing.
did black and white work for Dungeons and Dragons Second Edition, by the way.
Oh, that would explain what.
That's
But yeah, he's the bridge.
Yeah,
But
J.O. Bar. He's got work in the Player's Handbook and I think the Dungeon Masters. something
Well,
like that. Yeah.
So I, like that was my introduction. Like one of my favorite comic artists that nobody talks about because I guess his books weren't like super huge was Peter Shue, who he did Quadrant. He did like that kind of the heavy metal style stuff. He did a Elf Warrior. Like this guy was an amazing artist. And I loved his books. And dude, like you want to see some TNA? God damn, man. But yeah. So
and now
your
Corey.
money.
Now Corey.
Check out
awesome.
Druna sometime. But yeah. So I was like, okay, I don't know the first thing about making comics. I got screenplays of the entire Chronicle because during our games, because these games started in 1991 and they ended in sometime in the early 2000s. And I had multiple player groups play through these games. So there were kind of different play groups, different characters, whatever, different stories. But the whole thing that remained constant is we had these part of the library was they needed to convince people to pay dues to keep the lights on at the Pelham Public Library because we were going through a recession, if you don't remember, back in the early 90s.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, like they couldn't get a librarian, blah, 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 blah. So in order for them to keep the lights on and keep the doors open on Saturdays, we needed to pay money essentially. So in order for us to do that, we needed to provide something of an incentive to get people to do that. And that was where the Chronicles came in. And we would have our game sessions and we'd be taking notes. And then at the end of the game session, I'd take all the compiled notes and I would I would write up a newsletter, essentially a chronicle. And by the time, that I would mail that out to them, at the time it was like 15 cents for a stamp. That's how goddamn long ago it was. But, I sent it out there and I'd do some, before I lost long story short, like I used to draw, I used to be an artist, but I lost my hands, or at least control of my hands. I still have them, but they're all mangled. I used to draw like art for them and everything. And they're like, holy crap, these things are awesome. It was like a book. Like it was just a heavily illustrated book chronicling these adventures. And I had kept them over the years. And after moving, Australia, Japan, various parts in California, I moved back to New England and I had this big bin or this big shipping container. And I opened it up one day and I was just really bored and I'm reading it. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's make this an animated series or a screenplay or something. So I wrote it all out in screenplay. And awesome. I realized I can't do animation. It's way too many resources, way beyond my budget.
Way too expensive.
Just the
comics.
Patience too. Like,
well, so comics, and I reached out to this guy Zen out in LA, who he has a company where he's like, hey, you don't know how to do shit about comics? We'll help you. And he helped get me in touch with Antonio and Alzir, the inker and artist or colorist for the first book, and Team A in the second book. And we collaborated, and I showed them the stuff that I had from Zed Edge here for the game and stuff, and they're like, we can make this a marketable product. And that was where really the first book came out. Yeah, so just to show some of the other weird things here. Like,
all right, but what about the game part? Are you going to do like the source book and rules and all that stuff?
I'm hoping after I get out the comic books, the game will follow. But
that's great.
I want to make sure we have a solid universe in which to launch the game with. Yeah, and that will be with the two sagas or the two series, War of the Trees and the Empires of Ruin. But as you can see, there's men here, the race of men. They don't even get referenced in the War of the Trees.
You have so much there.
Wow.
Like I would just launch your game now. That's crazy. I'm serious.
I'm not
you have
seeing
so
much
there.
Irish. Not seeing a lot of Irish.
No Irish. What the hell?
Jimmy the Crypto, we've got no Irish. But
all I see is a black person there. You just went in. No, there's two black people.
Very
there's
diverse.
that lady and then the other lady. They're both
the unseen.
Very diverse. And blue.
When we were doing like the cute races, because when we were doing the player character designs, it was like we had to make something appealing for everybody. Like we wanted to make what race if these were all action figures on the store shelves, which one would catch your eye the most? And we wanted to make sure that there was one for everyone. And
far right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
we
lion.
did the cute races, and we're like, well, I'm not going to put the hobbits, I'm not going to put halflings or any of that shit.
Well,
In,
like Final Fantasy has theirs too.
yeah, they got their weird little like Hummel figurines.
I can't remember what they're called.
But
off the top of my
I
head.
started plumbing the depths of the Pelham Public Library for lore, because instead of like just ripping off Tolkien or Dungeons and Dragons, I was like, well, where do they get their shit from? So before Google, before all that stuff, I freaking I grabbed a bunch of books, and one of the books was on Scandinavian mythology. And do you guys remember that story about the elves and the tailor?
Yep.
Or
Yes.
no, it was either the elves. No, it was the elves and the cobbler.
Yep.
You know, the shoemaker.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was a mistranslation. It was actually Der Nisser und was it und Schumacher or whatever. But basically, the story involved these things called Tomtar or Tomtar, and later Nisser, because those are two different ethnic distinctions or whatever. But in this world, I've homogenized them into the generic term is Tomtar, and they're essentially these diminutive little these little guys here that follow almost like the hobbits, but they're tough as fuck and they're master craftsmen. And I thought, well, that would be a cool, cute race. Like they're
He's
not.
a Keebler elf.
Yeah, it's essentially like it looks like a Keebler elf, but they're like
That
legit.
listens
Like
to heavy
there's-
metal. Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually like mythological or folklore background. They weren't just pulled out of thin air. Like I know Final Fantasy did that. They're like,
That's cool.
we're gonna call the cat chicks, and we're gonna call the Galka, and like whereas this is every one of these actually has some kind of folklore or
Surters.
In defense of Final Fantasy, I will say that you're correct. But in defense for Final Fantasy, they do have like in their MMOs, they'll have historically, and mythological creatures, as special monsters in the game that you can go fight. So that was kind of cool because like I would go in group fights and fight these mythic monsters in the game, and then like go look up their name. I'm like, oh shit, I've never heard of Smurg. It's like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Cockatrice.
So yeah, like all these like obscure monsters, super cool. That's one of the highlights of the game for me, anyways, as a nerd.
Yeah,
just to add to like our elf stuff here, it's like why the hell are goblins included in the elves section? Like, what about
it used to be
orcs and all that
elves, right?
shit? Yeah,
Didn't they
like
used to
so.
be?
Yeah, how we were talking about previously about how magic fucked this world up.
Yeah.
What we're seeing here is one of the unfortunate side effects, or one of the unfortunate, I guess, basically the consequences of fucking with magic, where we basically mutated. Yeah, but here's the thing: is notice the body shape, the face and stuff, and then look at this.
Yeah,
that's
right.
interesting.
Yeah, it's like, well, what's going on here? It's like, is it a Tomtar or is it like so? Like, this is actually.
Can I just interject real quick? So he says, how can you have 16 of them? Because it started off, like, if I remember right, the first one, they thought that it was going to be the last game they were going to do.
Boy.
They thought they were going to shutter their doors.
And like each one they did, it was kind of like, well, this is the last game we're going to do. And it was like Final Fantasy became a series after that. So
Right.
just any Final Fantasy fans out there.
That's awesome.
So
Chris, I'm gonna have you finish this up, and then we're gonna probably have to get out of here very soon.
Yeah, sorry. I
No, you're good. I love this shit.
This is the most I've seen. This is great.
Me too.
You gotta
I love it.
do those. You gotta do the game. All the people that we talk to, and network with, you gotta be out of your mind not to put your game forward.
Do you know how hard it is to get all that stuff out though? The resources, comics are tough.
I mean,
game is harder.
Oh, I
because
believe
we're
you.
doing testing too. I mean, I got like 3D printed stuff out, but
because the worst thing is to have something that's like broken. You know what I mean?
hobby
it looks
shop?
pretty, but it's busted as shit. Yeah, it's
I
What about
totally
hobby
understand.
shops?
Well, how about this? I'll just say then I can't wait to see this game come out. This will
Yeah,
be
me
great.
too. It's awesome.
hell yeah.
What about going into hobby shops and stuff like that?
Oh, dude,
Getting your game out to.
comic shops and hobby shops want nothing to do with me, or at least here in New England.
Wow.
Yeah, Yeah, I got a pretty rude reception with the comic stuff and with the game stuff. They're like, yeah, everybody's
With the
got one
game
of those.
stuff, really?
Yeah. They're like, yeah, everybody's got those things. I'm like, yeah, what about this? I'm like, yeah, that looks nice. Don't care.
Wow.
Get back to me when you have a Paizo logo or a Wizards of the Coast logo.
Oh, I see.
But or Avalon
That
Hill.
friggin' sucks, man. And also, like, everybody's into what's the armored one? The heavily armored guys.
Warhammer.
Oh,
Warhammer,
Yeah,
yes.
Warhammer 40K.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Warhammer.
Games Workshop.
That's
Yeah,
cool, but I'm just like, damn, man. There's so many other things out there.
but
you
all
can
those
do.
companies are getting woke and hurting their fans.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
That's
Yeah,
why I'm
I
like,
know.
I think
I
it
know
was
it.
Nefarious there, Aaron, he's Neff. He's like, dude, strike while the iron's hot, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been trying to get more of the game stuff done. Like what we're
Yeah.
seeing here is, remember that previous race or what? Like, it's like, wait a minute, oops, the hell did I just?
Oz is great. He says, Grand Wizards of the Coast sucks. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's fantastic.
as I was showing with the races here, it's like, why would anybody want to play those little dinky mutant thing or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is probably one of the most complex races because, again, it's the unfortunate, tragic side effect of one of the other
Poor
races.
unfortunate soul.
Yeah, well, remember how we were talking about
I have
how
kids.
iron and silver
Excuse
killed
me.
them?
Yeah, everybody who's watched it, All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So
You're saying
so
everyone
how
who
we-
has kids are unfortunate? They turn into
No,
this?
no,
Is what kids do
come
to
on,
you?
you've seen Little Mermaid. Poor unfortunate.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
well,
Carry on. Carry
well,
on.
with this race, all right then. Yeah, with this race, you actually you have things called racial skills or racial abilities.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
And you can actually up your advance your race. Like when you're getting skill points after each experience level, you can either bump them into your skills or bump them into your racial skills, and that'll include things like something what the goblins have, this thing called Hamask, which is like a warp spasm. It's, again, they're all drawn from ancient Celtic, Gaelic mythology, where you begin the game as something called a hob or a hobgoblin, but you can invest points into it, become
That's
the
so
kobold,
cool.
and you're now
That's cool
bigger.
too, because
That is cool.
I'm not
Dude.
being funny, but that's like what Pokemon was all based on.
Yeah.
Being able to evolve
You know
your
what-
character.
You know who'd
Which-
like this? That'd be John A. Douglas.
Yeah.
He loves the whole orc stuff, dude. Yeah, there's a ton of fantasy guys that love the whole orc thing.
Well,
a lot of
look
them are Warhammer
So-
guys as well. So, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, here's
Chris,
the female
this is-
version. So, whoop.
Super
For
fantastic,
goblins.
man. I love
You know
this
what I
shit.
mean.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, I hate to stop this because I friggin' love it.
I'd love to
But
do it
We're
again.
gonna have to, we're gonna have to get into this more, man. Like, come back into this where we can break some stuff down again because, and I told Murph I want to do some character dives and stuff like that, like deep dives. So maybe we could, all get together and do that again, like where we showcase some characters, talk about their backstories or
Whoa.
Yeah.
something.
I love
Even
it.
if we
about
did
how
something
we
like on
develop 'em.
Gandalf or,
Yeah.
dragons or
Hell
something
yeah.
like that. That's just something we love.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I want to clear down into the design of it, clear into everything, because I think that's some of the most interesting
Really
things.
talk
for-
Yeah,
about
actually,
it.
that's kind of
I
our
love
favorite
it.
not
stuff.
just here it is,
Yeah.
because I could listen to Chris talk about this friggin'
Yeah.
literally.
I'm sorry, I'm so long-winded.
No,
No,
No, you're
we
awesome.
were all listening
And
to
I
you
love it.
for at least a half an hour. So
I have a note. I have a notepad right here. Ripping this
Yes.
off. Ripping that off.
I was like,
That
oh
is
my
for
gosh,
sure.
it's so in depth. So
it is
yeah.
in depth.
Well, it's
but
like
I think
30
we
years of
all
work.
think.
No,
But I also
get
think
it.
we all have this behind our characters. We just don't talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
it.
our
yeah.
worlds. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like we could do this, and you know how many shows you can get out of that just off of a couple
Oh,
characters.
gosh.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
hell yeah.
it's amazing.
I agree.
So,
Yeah, just talking about the basis of that character, for sure.
yeah. So, okay, that means we're going to do this again. We'll have to get back together again, guys.
we
Oh,
will.
yeah.
Yep.
It's great
I can
conversation.
figure out how to do Tuesdays. Sure.
Well, we don't have to do Tuesday. We could figure another night.
Yeah,
out
we
or
could always
something,
do a
but-
special stream
Yeah.
on a
So we'll figure
Saturday
it
or
out.
even Sunday or something like that. Yeah, with everybody's.
Yeah, or we'll go to your show or something like that.
Yeah,
or
that's true.
yeah,
too,
whatever.
That
But
works.
so yeah, we'll make it happen again, and we're gonna do more of this. And
Let's make fantasy great again.
hell yeah, hell yeah. I was trying to get Murph, to like let me call it something really cool tonight, and he didn't want to do it.
What?
What was I saying,
Yeah,
Murph?
okay, why
I had
don't you
all
give
kinds
out
of
one of
shit.
your
was
names.
it? Wait a minute.
I
why
wanna
was
give
it
out several.
headlined?
I'll give out several.
Let's see
Okay.
if you guys would like it better than what we call tonight's show.
Yeah, because it's called Starting Our Crusade. I wasn't sure
Which,
what that
that's
meant.
bullshit.
So,
It was a
okay.
bullshit title.
I didn't know what you meant. I was like, what
How
are we going
about-
to talk about?
How about Brothers of the Arcane? The Brotherhood of Scepters and Swords?
Whoa,
That
sounds
sounds
gay.
good.
Parliament of
Yeah.
Owls?
That sounds
Right?
awfully gay. All right, what was
A
wait,
Malignity of Goblins.
Wait, go back one.
I do
What
like
was the
that.
last one?
A Malignity of Goblins.
There's
No, the
one before.
Parliament
Parliament of Owls.
Oh, Parliament of Owls.
Hmm.
It kind of goes with Murder of Crows, Crash of Rhinos, that kind of
Okay.
stuff. That's
An
why I put that out there.
embarrassment of pandas.
Yes, there you go. But I was trying to have fun with
You
it. I
guys
was like,
didn't know.
let's do
complaint
this,
of
Murph. A conclave of sorcerers. I was even going to say 4 wizards convene, and he was just like, no.
Yeah.
So I
No.
was like, damn. I was wanting to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll have to come up with something for it.
Yeah, the High Council of.
Yeah, there you
Not
go.
not the gay one though.
Yeah, not the one about scepters and swords.
You want to
That's
sword
awfully.
fight, guys? Click, click,
Yeah,
click.
we're not
Yeah, it's
playing
just
tummy
wordplay,
sticks.
man. Just wordplay.
Yeah.
But it's so fun, and we're going to have to do this many times over. So for those of you who stuck it out and stuck till the end, Great, man.
Yeah.
Good on
Yeah,
you,
man.
man. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
thanks for hanging out. And everybody in the replay, you guys are the real champions. Remember to
right.
hit
Thank
the
you,
like.
Osgreat. Crusade was the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hit the like, subscribe to these guys'
share.
channels. Come and
Yeah,
come and
that's
talk
fun.
to us. So you can catch us all on Twitter. I think everybody's website's either up or Twitter is up
Yeah.
on their name, right?
It's not hard to find me. Just
Nope.
whenever you try to find me, just Immortal Rising comic book, because there's other Risings and Immortals and stuff. So
Ah,
Immortal Rising
okay.
comic book tends to find me. Yeah.
See you, Great. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming out, man. And Felix, thanks for sticking by too,
Yeah,
man.
man.
You're
Yeah,
still
for
there, too.
sure. True soldier.
So awesome. Okay, well, guys, thank you for hanging out.
We will reconvene the Council of High Wizards.
Yes. Yes, we will. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Catch you later.
See you guys.
Yeah.